Is that it was still okay? That was fucking annoying. Okay, let me do a part two. Part two. Don't know what the hell was that all about. See the bullshit. My laptop is loud as hell for some reason. Don't know what the hell that's all about. Maybe I need to do a control. Let me see. Control Alt Delete and see what the fuck's going on with the task manager. Like how. Okay, so right now memory is the biggest thing. CPU is at 19. GPU is 36 because it's doing extra stuff there. So nothing really crazy. Okay, that's fucking annoying that it crashed the way that it did. Uh, so can I hear this? Let me see here. Hold on. Annoying that I guess it's recording. I don't fucking know. See, it's like, why did it crash? I think, yeah, it was it. This shit was going crazy because fucking Streamlabs was nuts. So let me see if I can. All right. Yeah, I can't be bothered with it. I'm gonna go on my YouTube channel to see what's causing the issue before I go on. Oh, requested. Okay, somebody requested. Two people requesting. So Nibs and my apologies. I'm having like catastrophic situations here. So this is what I'm normally used to hearing. I don't know why, and I should have known better. I should have known why my fucking PC was screaming the way that it was. Something was fucking wrong. What's going on, guys? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can. I don't.
Risk it.
I don't use.
Risk it.
I don't
Okay.
use Streamlabs. I use OBS.
I think it's because I actually left it. I left it dangling in the breeze here, man. That's what I ended up doing. And what I'm trying to figure out here, and I'll just be with you. Nibs, what's going on, bro? Maybe he didn't. Maybe he wasn't aware that. Oh, that's so fucking frustrating. Oh yeah, somebody else is trying to request here. All right, cool. So we got everybody here. Nibs, are you there? If you are, I can't hear you. What about you? Oh, he has to back out and go back in. Okay. Cloak, yo, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
All right, cool. So the net of everything, and I think this shit isn't really recording what I want. I think it actually is. This is just gonna look ugly though. So what you gotta say about all the stuff that I was saying about PC, man? I know you're a big PC bro.
I what did catch me off guard was that your friend had to plug in his PC and then that he had to do all those updates. Like, I'm kind of curious as to how long his PC has been offline or has been unplugged for that long.
He works from home, so that's what was going on. He had to make some space. So he wasn't really doing it. Wasn't anything crazy.
Okay,
So whatever it was, he was using it, but I don't think he uses it as often as you would you would think. He's a console player essentially.
Like he's not on it every day.
No.
Yeah, it's probably the one reason why. And as for the picture quality, because these games, so it's a myth, but at the same time, there's some truth to it because it's the fact that some of these games are made for consoles, so they actually have consoles in mind. And when consoles are in mind, when trying to play on the PC, the GPU processes it differently. And there's also the fact that computer monitors and television sets are not the same. So when you
Well,
put,
I'll say this. Give me a second here. Nibs, are you there?
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me or not.
No, yep, now I can hear you. Okay,
All right,
Energy
cool.
Code, what's going on, bro?
Hey man, I just popped in to give you a bit of advice
Yeah,
on
what's
that
up,
whole
Gamecast?
Streamlabs thing. Do you want to hear it or no good?
I mean, I'm not a PC person. What advice in regards to what?
Yeah, look, so Streamlabs is basically a complete rip-off of OBS.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, which is fine, man, whatever, you look up all the shit on YouTubers will tell you that it's like, don't use it because they ripped off and they're bad people, and that's probably true. But the thing about Streamlabs is it fucking chews up your CPU like hard, and it will chew up your GPU. And for some reason, in some cases, it doesn't show how much CPU and GPU it's using. And you'll see you'll drop frames and all sorts of shit with Streamlabs, where with OBS you won't. I used to use Streamlabs, man, and I had nothing but dramas. Switched to OBS, and I haven't had a drama since. So, man, if I were you, like it seems like if you've been using Streamlabs for any amount of time, you can use OBS, man. And then there's a kind of copier OBS that's it's also pretty good that Stream Elements do. So you can port in shit from Stream Elements like you do with Streamlabs. So man, if I were you, I would just dump Streamlabs and go to OBS, bro, because they are way better.
I have OBS on there too. And it's just that Streamlabs is easier. I'm gonna start playing around with it to see what I could do with it. But other than that, in terms of Streamlabs, I put my computer in hibernation, and then I went to Florida, and didn't really turn it on except for one time. And then when I came back in the house and turned on my fucking laptop, this fucking fan was screaming. And I'm like, oh, something's being chewed up here. And then it crashed. So now I got this bullshit. So I'll reiterate because of fucking YouTube video. By the way, everybody is being streamed, just to let you know, on YouTube. So your voice is going to be there. So if you don't want to have your voice on there, I'm sorry. You can back out.
You're trying to avoid another gear situation, eh?
I am. It was fucking ridiculous. I was like, what the hell was that?
I'm saying
going to get my attorneys.
Motherfucker.
I'm going to get my attorneys for what? For me letting you talk on the fucking YouTube? It's not even that big. Anyway. So anyway, my experience before we go on to the other two topics, I went over to my friend's house, and he wanted to show me the experience of PC. And it was unplugged because he works from home. So he plugged it in. Update number 1. I said, okay, cool. Now it's not looking too good for PC. You know what I mean? That's a strike there. Once it booted up, he tried to boot up Steam. Another sort of update because that wasn't running. So he had to close it out and open it back up again. Then he boots up fucking Outriders. And Outriders needed something. I don't know what it needed, but he had to close that out and open it again. So I'm just sitting there with my hands crossed like, huh. So he turns on the game finally, right? The game is running at 59 frames a second. Now he has a 3090. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, for this fucking basic game, this is the best you got? I mean, I'm expecting more. And it was some caps and shit like that on there, which he removed, and it still wasn't stable. But what I noticed is that the textures that was on the ground, because he started the game from scratch. So it was both, he kept switching between the PS5 and the PC, and the textures looked like there was some sort, or the screen looked like there was some sort of chromatic aberration. I was like, turn off the LSS. Turn off the LSS. The textures at the bottom looked like they were fringed in terms of the details. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on with that one. Then I said, put it on native. It was native. It looked a little better. But for some reason, the PS5 version looked clearer, and I don't know what it is. I know that it's a lower resolution. It's been on Digital Foundry, X, Y, and Z. The differentiating factor, if you go on PC, is because, well, it's the frame rate's higher. So I'm like, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's a more stable frame rate, but and then he's, there's more particles. So a lot of particles have a little bit more details in terms of the special effects. And everything was on Ultra. I just don't feel like that's worth $2,000. I don't feel like it's just. Yeah.
The one thing about PC gaming, because I game on all of them, is some games are just not that well optimized, and there's just not much you can do about that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure that it was that way. And I was asking him, "Did you have Cyberpunk?" I was like, "Turn on Cyberpunk." He was like, "No, I don't have that." I was like, what's the other good-looking PC game that we know of?"
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Sorry.
Spider-Man.
I couldn't help it, man. I was just kidding. Right? My
God,
bad.
man. Well,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say one of
The
the
other
best
one-
showcases is Star Citizen. It's not really a proper game, but it's a good showcase.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was asking him for there was Cyberpunk. He didn't have that one, and there was the other one. Other than that one,
The only ones I can think of would be either Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War 2018.
Death
As for, like,
Stranding, and
Death
also
Stranding.
the
those. Oh, wait. So first, Horizon. I know what you're doing, Risk It, but those particular games can run on very, very cheap hardware. I'm talking about the proper games for PC.
So if you want, in terms of difference from console, I would say the latest Metro games, they have full ray tracing, and also Control has full ray tracing, I believe, as well on PC, which you can't get on console. So if you're talking about, I wouldn't say those games are necessarily as good looking as the ones we've listed, but if you just want to flex your GPU and have some features consoles don't have, then probably those two games.
Yeah, I was baffled. I have subtech background, and I was baffled at the fact that I couldn't find out what was causing that fringing around the details, and the textures didn't look that great either. So, it just, to me, it was just like I didn't like any of it. So to me, it's not worth $2,000.
To me, not worth the hassle, which is why I'm a console gamer. I got both consoles, and the thing, and I got a shitty PC, which I don't do anything with really, but the hassle that you got to go through, man, you got to get this driver. That driver doesn't work with this software.
I actually used to be.
I'll have a thing said about so driver, right? My instance, my PC is always running. I mine crypto when I'm not using it, right? So I make about $15-20 a day from that. While that's running, I also have stuff like GeForce Experience, which automatically pulls down my updates.
Wait,
my
Lazy,
games are all updating on the back end. I don't have those issues you're saying.
Lazy, before you continue, can I just ask you one question?
Sure.
Are you, with the electricity prices so high and crypto down big time at the moment? Is it still profitable even now?
It's probably, with the electricity, it's probably about break even or so. Like, I actually used to have a mining rig with a whole bunch of 3060 Ti's and stuff. I got rid of those a month or so ago. But my main PC, it makes sense to me because all I'm doing is any crypto I mine, I'm just converting it to Ethereum and I'm stacking it long term. So I don't care if right now it's profitable. If Ethereum goes anywhere near what it was before, it'll be super profitable.
Okay, okay. Enough with all the crypto stuff. Not everybody's going to be doing crypto shit. That's number one. Not everybody's going to have their computers on all the time. That's another thing.
Damn.
Too, is that when he turned on his computer, his whole lights dimmed in his house, in his apartment.
That's a him problem. That's not a PC problem.
Just turning on that bitch. You had
The thing
flicker. I was like,
right?
This thing is fucking flaming shit.
What's his specs for his PC?
Well, he has a 3090. That's number one. I don't know the other specs.
So you don't know what kind of CPU he has. You don't know how
Can
much
I ask
RAM
you
he
a question,
has.
man, while I got you here, man?
He has 24. He has 24 gigabytes of RAM. I knew that much, or at least that's what it said.
Gigabytes. That's not even dual channel. Like, that's a weird ass.
Mine doesn't get
24.
turned on very often.
Well,
right?
Hold on, wait. There's too many people talking at the same time. Who's talking? Who is that? First of all,
Starcasm. 24 is weird.
Shit.
Like,
I can't hear
it's either
Starcasm
16 or
talk,
32.
man, he's connecting on my screen, right?
So Gamecast, what's going on is that Riskit can't hear Starcast, and Starcast I don't think can hear Riskit, so they're kind of talking over each other.
It sounds like a PC problem. But either way, so the thing is, it's like I saw 24 for a system. Like, again,
Well,
he just showed me some
That's
respect.
not normal.
Typically, RAM is 816.
Whatever it was, and
64.
whatever it was a division of something. He was showing me. I wish he was here, but he's sleeping right now. But like, he was showing me the division. I knew that was not video RAM. I knew that much. So I'm not sure it was.
Let's put it this way:
right
Lazy Gamer, Starcast, and Cloak. What wattage is your power supply in your PCs?
Mine's
750. I have a 3080.
My wattage
750,
is
1000, and Lazy.
I have a 750 for a 3080.
All right, so the PS5 and Series X, I think they're rated at what, 250 or something?
But also from a power draw, just because I can do 750 doesn't mean my current, like my normal is about 300 to maybe 400 at most. But also, like for example, just because I mentioned the whole thing about keeping it on all the time, when I mine, I undervolt, so that I'm not actually using that much electricity when I keep my computer on to do my stuff in the back.
What's the energy efficiency rating of your power supply? Do you know?
I have to look it up. I built this back when the 3080 first came out, so I have to go look. I haven't thought about it since then.
Okay.
mine is a gold with 850. I got an 850 gold.
So
80 plus,
is that
80
80% or something? 85%? Yeah.
Mine's a
The thing I will say is the reason I don't worry about the electricity portion of it is because I've been mining for like the last 2 years or so on it, to where I've already made more plus the cost of electricity of what my graphics card costs, period.
Bro, the electricity costs now in the UK are so staggering that I would never even blink at that shit. But these days, it's a different ballgame. Like, they've gone up like 3-4 times what they used to be. And whereas before, I never even would whiff at it. But now I actually can feel it. Sometimes if I'm doing heavy duty power stuff, like having the electric fan on, you know, like it really makes a difference on that month's bill. It's so weird. But yeah.
So my whole thing is this. My whole.
I wanted to touch on that RAM thing, that RAM situation, because you said 24. That seems like your guy had a 16 gig stick and an 8 gig stick, and that's not the move. Basically, you're not gonna get.
I'm not sure what he was doing. All I know, like I said before, I said PC experience.
Yeah, because you're saying 3090,
and it wasn't.
You got to also look at what kind of CPU.
No.
I
get it. I get it. But my whole thing is this: even if there were massive bottlenecks, is the fact that it took so long to boot up. That's number one. The fact that his fucking lights flicker just to turn on that bitch. It's the fact that
how long did it take to boot up?
Not the actual. I shouldn't say boot up. I'm talking about just the overall, just from the start to turn on the computer.
From
and
start
turn
to
on
turn
the
game, right?
Yeah, and I have to go through all those different layers.
I've never had all those issues and experiences you're having in the last like 15 years. PC gaming, I've never had.
I get it. I totally get it. But like I said, he's a console person, and he doesn't turn on his PC all the time. So I know for me, in my PC, you know, I could have mine in hibernation. I don't turn mine on all the time either, because I'm predominantly a console gamer. And then as soon as I turn it on, I have like 4 updates for Windows. I get that games have updates and consoles have patches. I can still play my games when the consoles are not, you know, it's ready for a patch. This was like mandatory. I couldn't do shit. Also, too, there's this NVIDIA thing on my PC that if I wanted to check out specs
GeForce experience.
Yeah, if I wanted to do anything, I needed to do all this other shit. Like, it was like ridiculous. What
exactly?
Log in when I didn't want to log in.
You don't need to log in to GeForce Experience.
I know you don't need to do anything. That's you know what I mean. I would check the specs. I wanted to check out the specs. I'm trying to tell you. I wanted to check out the specs, and when I went into system and about my computer, it wouldn't give me any information on my GPU. So I had to go through the what is it, GeForce Experience or whatever the fuck it's called.
Dude, your computer, I got some issues. It is not a PC gaming issue. It's
whatever issue with that PC.
What?
What I'm saying is that your experience with that PC is not a gaming, like not normal gaming PC issues of anybody I've ever known. That's more of a individual.
If you are a PC person and you always have your PC on and your PC is always hold on, wait a minute. If you're always having your PC on and it's always looking for updates, you probably wouldn't have an issue. You probably wouldn't have any particular issue. I just
started doing that recently. I haven't always done that.
Regardless of the matter, there's two people, me included, and the other person that has had these particular issues. You can't fight my experience. That's my experience. I don't know why your experience is easier, but you can't fight my experience. That's what I'm dealing with. Now, if there's some kind of arbitrary class that I need to take to make this shit more plug and play and turn on and the shit just works, you can direct me to it.
Game Pass, that's the whole thing.
Windows, hold down the Windows key and X. You'll pop up Task Manager. You can find it right there.
But Game Pass, I think
I don't understand.
Go on, Nibs.
I was going to say, I think that's the thing with.
I can't hear with too many people talking at once.
Sorry,
go on, please.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the thing with PC gaming, isn't it? There's so much variability because there's so many distinctions in hardware, in software, in the different drivers or the different software you have installed, the game you're playing, what settings you're running at. There's like an infinite number of variables, and that's why your experience of a particular thing could be so different from someone else's for a really simple thing. And I think that's why, so when we talk of anecdotal experience, like yours is just as valid as theirs. And I always find this in these sort of spaces. There's a lot of PC gamers who, Greg Miller the other day, he made a tweet, like he was having so many issues with his like 3090 PC that he ended up just quitting. And then he said, I'm just going to stick to consoles. So, people have different experiences. I used to be a predominantly PC gamer. So my most played games of all time are the Counter-Strike Source and Counter-Strike games. But I also stopped playing on PC because I know a lot of people tell me it's much better these days than it was, like a decade ago. Yeah, but I just had no cheating. I used to play in clans, but in league, sorry. But yeah, it's just there's too much variability. Like, and the thing is, what I find is, with console, you might have some slowdown and stuff like that, but generally, when you put in a game, whether it's Outriders or whatever new thing it is, it's going to run. It may not be a fluid frame rate, but it will run without any sort of major issues. Whereas I think with PC games sometimes, especially from random third-party publishers and the big ones like Ubisoft, EA, etc., sometimes it's a bit of a roulette as to how much polish they've put in a PC port. So oftentimes you'll hear like some PC gamers say, "Oh, but that's because it's from Ubisoft," or "That's because it's from so and so." They always have. Yeah, they always have shitty ports.
So I don't. And that's the thing. Let me just say this, Nibs, and you're absolutely right. See, a person, and what's going on, Jemiah? What's going on, everyone, and on YouTube? A person, I know what they were trying to do. I've seen them floating around, risk it. He's an Xbox person, really. In general. So if he's just using this PC for cryptocurrency, it is what it is. I'm not really looking for it. The point is. The experience that I've seen and that I'm dealing with is just not enough. And the cost, I don't want to do it. Period.
Well, PC is not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody.
I get it. But if you have a PC, then you should know that the variables are infinite in terms of what could possibly go wrong. I don't even know why you're trying to. I don't know why you're. I don't know why you are fighting my experience with yours.
No, knowing
that information.
I'm not fighting your experience. You said that you didn't know how to get to your GPU info and everything like that, and I was basically telling you exactly how to do it. Like
right. But again, I was mentioning other things as well.
Other things like what though?
You just heard. I'm not repeating myself. I already told you about the experience that I had with the friend, with my own computer, and just in general.
24 gigs of RAM, and I was telling you that's like weird.
Regardless of what it is, whether it's 24 or 2, it doesn't matter. Like the situation was when the computer booted up.
It does matter.
It matters in what way? Explain yourself, please.
It does matter. Meaning like RAM comes 8, 16, 32, 64.
I get the division. I get the division. What is this? What is the side? Wait. What is this? What is the side effects of it? Explain that. I don't care about the
side effects. Is not going to run as fast. It's not going to run as even. Like that's like what you call dual channel. Like,
and what I told you, and again, I didn't tell you anything specific. I said what I saw. And I said that it wasn't video RAM either. Regardless of the matter, it's all anecdotal.
VRAM,
and again, it is all anecdotal. The situation was not about the game necessarily running, but just getting to the game is my issue.
Which game?
And how many patches?
I understand. I don't think you need to back and forth with them anymore about it. I understand. I'm a pizza gamer. I understand your side of it. That you're good. The stuff he's referring to is about
I'm very clear
settings and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with the issues. You have nothing to do with your RAM. That's all about optimization and people that are trying to tweak the best performance.
Yeah, right. I'm very clear of what I'm saying. There is too many walls to get to where I need to go. You're saying what game? What the fuck does that matter?
I have a question about your PC.
It does matter because different games are optimized for different.
You're talking about optimization. I'm just talking about booting the fucking game.
He's talking about just using his computer to game, not a specific game, a certain optimization.
I'm not even talking about specs. I'm just talking about booting the fucking game.
Yeah, so I have
talking about which game. The system is not booting.
I'm not trying to argue with you here. I'm just basically saying.
You actually I gave
you an example. No, I gave you an example where you said that y'all had an issue with getting to the game, and I have consoles. I have all the consoles, and I have a PC, and I could boot and get into a game quicker on a PC than I can a console. I just can't. That's what I'm just saying. I'm not trying to make this
again, it's anecdotal, and we already explained to you before that everybody has their own specific. Everybody have their own specific thing.
Yeah,
I get it. But regardless, even if okay, so I trust that what he did was sufficient enough to boot up the game. And I mentioned to you that it was updates that needed to happen. What the fuck does that have? What the fuck does that have anything to do with it? What does that have to do? What does the update? What does the updates have anything to do with the game running? Explain that, please.
You just also explained that he had.
No. I want to put it specifically to the question that I'm asking. What does the updates? What does the? I just asked you. What does the update have anything to do with the RAM? It's asking for an update when it is asking for an update as soon as it booted up because he didn't start on his computer for a day or two. What does that have to do with RAM?
No, I was talking about your RAM being the fact that
you skipped over to talking about RAM, and I'm telling you about the experience of the computer.
Listen, basically, obviously,
damn, this is getting heated.
I don't know why it's getting heated, but
the thing is, I'm very no. Here's the thing: I'm very clear as to what I'm saying, and you're being disingenuous. And you're saying what it is.
I think Gamecast
very specific. What I'm saying.
I think he's just trying to troubleshoot and trying to figure out what he could do.
I don't need a troubleshoot. I say experience. Right?
Yeah.
And I say that what I saw.
Then obviously y'all like
homie, it's not my computer. It ain't my computer. It ain't mine. I'm saying what I noticed at somebody else's house. That ain't my computer. What you talking about?
Right.
But
and based on the experience, you feel like it's not worth it to invest in a computer. And I totally agree with that.
And the discussion. That's it. What was the for, my dude?
Not in the argument. Just I have a question for you. What I will say is most people that have the least amount of issues with gaming PCs are the people that don't exclusively buy them for gaming. I normally don't tell people that want a game to buy a gaming PC just to game. I only suggest that if you plan on using it for work or other things, because that way you have it on more often, it updates more often. And that's all I'm saying. So like maybe that's why, because I work in cybersecurity, I work on computers all day. Mm-hmm. I worked in IT for 15 years, so I don't have those experiences. But people that like, if you want to use it for a gaming only purpose, I can exactly see where you're coming from. It's completely different if your PC is seen as this is a gaming PC. That's what I primarily use it for.
Fact. The thing is, the people that go on, the thing that go on, I don't know you, homie. I'm
just telling you, the ones that
you saying that you got consoles and shit like that, and then you have PCs.
I do.
And then what I created this space for is to just explain about because I always get these fucking people that comes in here that talks about how much better PC is and how stupid you are for having a gaming console. That's the purpose of it. I'm trying to explain the situation. Okay. Because that's exactly the sentiment that I have. It's not for everybody.
And I agree.
So when I explain myself, especially if you know what the situation is and everybody's configurations, be it bad or good, it's a different fucking experience for everybody.
This is
I come in here and I explain. I say, this is what I saw. And I don't think it's fucking worth it. That's the end of the fucking discussion. I don't need nobody to try to woo me the fuck over for a PC. That's it.
I think he's just trying to. He's just trying to give his experience, because I would say this is a bit of a cyclic conversation. But basically, yeah, it's true. Like, both sides of the spectrum of experiences exist, and that's kind of a bit of a roulette you do take with PC gaming, because it's a bit more complex than a console, right? A console is kind of like an iPhone almost. It's like iPhone of old versus Android of old. It's very simplistic, plug play. Yes, you have updates and stuff now, but generally, like, you don't have to worry about too much. Whereas on the PC side, because there are so many variables and everyone is running the game slightly differently, he could be running different. So yeah, there is going to be wildly different experiences.
So it's like, but every time a console, but hold on, wait. Every time when the console person comes up and says, I had this experience. Oh, I don't have that experience. I did this. What? Like, why do I need to hear that shit? I'm just telling you what my experience is. I don't give a fuck about your experience. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, you have every right to feel that way. I was just trying to help you with a solution and trying to troubleshoot.
It ain't my computer though, but it isn't my computer though. But it isn't my computer.
That's why I was asking you the questions. That's why I was asking questions. That's all.
But you get this so many fucking times.
I think you every time. I think you're just getting upset because I believe that there's room for PCs and there's room for console gamers and there's room for both to have both.
Can I ask you a question? Out of curiosity, how come you bought like the Series X if you have a high-end gaming PC?
Because of the ecosystem, the fact that I've bought so many games that I had with the Xbox and everything, my friends, all of that.
So do you still play like
I'm
with your friends?
I'm on my Series X right now.
Okay, fair enough.
When you say ecosystem, every game is crossplay now, so I don't understand. You can just. But
that's what makes it even better because my rig is in my den. I got an Xbox in my bedroom and I got an Xbox Series X in my living room.
So why didn't you get a PS5?
Games throughout all of that shit, and I also got a Steam Deck.
He doesn't have a PS5.
I got a PS4 Pro actually.
He doesn't have the PS5 because it's all of his. No, hold on, wait. He doesn't. No, don't do that because it's you can't win that. You know what I mean? He likes what he likes. His friends are already on there. His ecosystem is tied to the computer, and I knew that shit. I don't even have to fucking talk to you or look at your profile to understand that you had an Xbox Series X or an Xbox ecosystem. It's always. I'm not saying that you should deny it. It's always the same song and dance.
What's the song and dance?
The song that's asking these particular questions. You already know it. You're playing dumb. You're playing dumb with the situation.
No. What are you talking about?
If you are a gamer,
which I am.
This is why you're not listening. If you are a gamer, you specifically singled out Xbox, right? Cool. And you want the best experience because you picked the PC.
I'm singling out Xbox.
I got you.
Wait. I'm singling out Xbox, or
I say that I'm done with it. Anyway, this is my experience, right?
Let's move to Remake.
I'm going to absolutely move on to that one. I'm done with it. I'm not doing this stupidity.
I don't know where this is going.
I'm not doing this stupidity. I can't do it. Every time I already know what it is.
I don't understand what you're saying, honestly. Like, I really don't.
When I put in my experience, when I put in my PC experience, I'm going to tell you. You have 4 people that told you, explain to you what it was. 4 people, including myself. In terms of it was my experience. That was it.
Okay,
why do I need your help? That was my experience.
You said that you was having issues, correct?
No, I never said I had issues.
You and your homeboy was having issues like.
No, I never asked. I never asked help.
So then why would I was asking you how much RAM did the person have?
You asked that for your own personal
Okay,
information.
so then why did I tell you that
and then I asked you
why did I
again.
tell you?
I didn't ask you for anything.
Hold on a second. Why did I tell you that you could do a hotkey to find out your GPU information? I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to explain to you what you could do.
You said that on your own volition. I didn't need any input or ad libs. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Then
and you're still trying to go on and
what's
on.
the problem here?
You're still trying to go on and on.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you what's the problem here. Like
the problem is just me. The problem is
I'm trying to
if
give
you
you
just shut up for a second though and just listen.
I mean, okay.
Right? That's what you need. That's what you would need to do. The problem is you're not listening. I'm just telling you my experience. If I say I'm going to the store, I picked up some fucking bread and the bread had mold on it, I don't need a fucking solution. I'm just telling you what the fuck the situation is. I don't need a solution.
If I tell you that there's a hotkey to find out what your GPU information is, that's called helping you.
I didn't want your help.
I think he's saying he just wanted to vent. That's fine. Let's move on.
We're good, buddy. We're good. We are good. Anyway,
all right. So,
not doing that. Not doing that shit. All right, dude. So here's the thing. I removed him. When Risky came in here, right? Risky for the Biscuit already had issues with the PlayStation, and his whole channel, if you don't know, is just shitting on PlayStation shit. That's his whole channel. When he came in here, he brought a whole bunch of fucking people with him, and on top of it, right? He started mentioning, oh, you can play God of War, you can play Horizon, and I'm asking for, I already knew what the fucking situation was. Then he's talking about, then this guy, whatever is sarcasm, whatever the fuck he was doing. This is why I got belligerent with it.
Okay, I will say about Starcast, he is an Xbox guy, but he's okay, man. He's okay, honestly.
No, his ass gets the fuck out because he's not listening.
He's okay.
That's what it is.
Risk it, definitely. Yeah, he is troll, but
no, I get what you say. I get what you're saying. Again, he's an Xbox guy, and it's an elitist situation where they think that the ecosystem for the PC and Xbox are one and the same. They're not. They're not. That's what it is. These arguments always fucking happen. And you're getting the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out with that bullshit.
Oh, you're hyped.
Period.
Bro. You're hyped.
Yeah. Gamecast, you're upset today, man. What's going on?
I just got back from from Florida. So that's what it is.
Oh, that Florida.
Oh shit. Okay, fair enough.
Sure.
So I just rolled up in here and turned on my fucking computer, and then my fucking Streamlabs crashed while I was fucking streaming on top of it.
You're getting tested today.
Well, there's the tested situation, but there's also a fucking PC issue.
Yeah,
so,
I got that feeling because it seemed like you just wanted to vent because you were angry about the situation with the PC. But yeah, fair enough. I do think Starcast he was well intentioned. I actually think he was just probably trying to help. But sometimes you just gotta.
Nibs, I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. My Sharingan was open. I ain't fucking stupid.
My only issue is the issues you kept saying you had. The things he was saying he may have been trying to help, but that wouldn't have completely turned around what you were explaining.
Yeah. There's no way to ascertain what the issue is. Honestly, you can't.
No.
With these things, it's too difficult. And I will say to the RAM point he made, having the unlivered ram, it may affect parallelism, efficiency and performance, but it wouldn't lead to any of those sort of crashes and stuff. You can still do that and have decent performance, just it wouldn't be optimum performance. So I don't think that would be the reason for the issues he's facing. It's probably going to be something more severe, but we wouldn't be able to know. There's no way. It could take a lot of time. But yeah, anyway, that
was the situation. And it's not that you couldn't ascertain the issue, right? Is that I didn't come in here asking, hey, can you fix it? I just did the PC experience. That's all I mentioned. And I didn't like it. And I already know about fucking PC shit.
Do you feel like he was belittling you at all because he was telling you how to fix it?
No, what I think is this is the situation that happens with all these Xboxes. That's essentially what he is. What ends up happening, right, is that they think that there's the elitism. When I mention a PC experience that's not up to snuff of what, or I'm sorry, how should I put it? If I mention a PC experience that's contrary to what they experience, they think that you're doing something fucking wrong. You know what I'm saying? What you said? Who?
Yeah. My only issue I had with the conversation was he was trying to help, but all the things he was mentioning, like dual channel, all those are ways of optimizing a game. It's not going to like wham bam fix your experience. They're literally just optimization. So dual channel, not dual channel, all those things, it doesn't really matter for what your experience was. It wasn't going to change that. He's not changing you over to the thing, and that's fine. I play on everything. I have them all.
Anyway, Starfield or Remake? What we did, man?
I'm about to go over there, right? I'm about to go over there. So I'll say this, and I'll leave it alone. Turn it on the PC, right, because my PC turns on very quick. You turn on your PC, you got to boot up Steam, unless it boots up on its own, because you can make that happen. And you have to go through this, and you have to do this, and then it boots up. That's too many layers for me, rather than just clicking onto an icon and turning it on. Then you may have issues in terms of the game crashing or drivers or whatever the fuck it is. That's the PC experience. They like tinkering with that shit. I don't. Like, I just came back from Florida. I don't want to have to deal with uploading shit or updating shit. I just want to sit down and turn it on.
That's why you're angry as well, because you just came back from Florida.
Why they made the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck doesn't use Windows. It tries to streamline it to make it more like a console experience.
Yeah, I've mentioned it before in the past. I think the PC is going to become more like consoles, and consoles are going to become more like PCs. They're going to make it easier for people to use things on PC, and they're going to give you more options on things on consoles. Cool. And the discussion.
To be honest, that is what I want, though, because I do want to eventually get a gaming rig. Not now, because the thing is, right now, right, if you're buying PC hardware right now, I feel you're getting less value proposition just due to the fact that these consoles you're buying at less than cost price or around cost price, right? Whereas when you're buying PC hardware, you're paying the business margin or whatever, the profit. So I would say wait a while until these consoles are no longer at cost price and there's more margins in play. And then the amount we're paying for the PC side of things, there's more of a divergence, basically. So I was going to maybe build my rig in 2 years or something like that. However, yeah, that's what I want them to do. I want them to make it so that a PC is more like a console, so I can just turn that shit on and it will instantly load into my library of games or whatever, and they're just less abstract with all the rest of the stuff. Because I think.
Oh, I was gonna say. So, case in point to that, have you played around with Windows 11? So, what I will say, as stuff progresses, especially if you just happen to be in the Xbox services, that's what Windows is doing. So, like, as it's again, I understand it's not there. It's not going to be there for a while. But what exactly you're saying is what Microsoft is doing. They're built again. Most of my
Windows Store. So anecdotally, everything I hear about the Windows gaming side of things is like really bad and inefficient and things.
No, I'm not talking about the store. I'm talking about the services. So like, for example, Xbox Live. You can chat with people on Xbox. Like basically trying to make the interfaces and the way you interact with your gaming side more like an Xbox or a console.
Yeah. So lazy gamer. Let me ask you this. Say I boot up my PC, right? And I'm asking because I'm genuinely interested. You know how on Xbox and PlayStation you just create a party, you invite people, and you start talking, joining different games. Like, what would be the equivalent to that on?
You can do that now on PC because, like I said, because they built in they've integrated the Xbox services a lot on there. So, for example, like my son, me and him used to play Fortnite. He was on an Xbox. We would use Xbox Party Chat. I would play on PC. He would play on his console. The thing is, it's janky on PC. Like, they're trying to get there where it's very whatever. But again, it's a process. It's like diverging. Where it's getting better. It's not there yet.
It's not there yet. All right, fine, yeah. So I'm waiting for the time when it is there, basically, and then.
And the funny thing is, you get diminishing returns, right? You get diminishing returns. You're going to get diminishing returns when it comes to graphics. There's going to be a time where, let's just say 2 trillion polygons, right, on the screen versus 1 trillion polygons. What the fuck does it matter? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's an interesting thing because with Unreal 5, like with the nanite technology, because it only renders the pixels that you see or what needs to be seen. It's a bit of a different type of rendering system. So I do wonder when that comes as well. Maybe that will make the diminishing returns even more so. Because it's just a fundamentally different way of, rather than having your LODs and all of this draw distance and whatever, it kind of minimizes all that. So so I am curious when finally the next gen only versions of these Unreal 5, Night Tech games come. That's when I'm really interested to see how they compare to the PC, because I wonder if maybe there could be even less difference.
And even with that, also you have to realize we just got these new generation of consoles, right? The 3080s and 3090s are already, from a power standpoint, they're more powerful than those. But then also by the end of this year, we should see another series of graphics cards. So that's the one thing. As the console ages longer for like PS5, Series X, GPUs are going to continue to get more powerful. Now, again, you don't have to buy the newest, greatest PC. Some people like me, I always upgrade to the newer stuff if there's significant performance boosts. If there's like a very big boost, like for example, if I want to do 4K with all the ray tracing, all the extra bells and whistles. And again, from another conversation we've been at, I like my frames to be higher. So certain games that you may have to compromise one over the other, you can turn on all the bells and whistles and still get at least a solid 60 to 120.
And well, that's what I'm saying. In the future, let's say PS6, right? It's going to come to a point where it's not going to be that much of a difference. There's barely any difference now in terms of anything that's like tangible. I should say that's too strong. Actually, let me backtrack on that one. There is a difference, and you can see it. It's just not worth.
It's getting to a point where the human eye is not going to be able to distinguish just like with like a lot of displays on iPads and iPhones. It's getting to a point where on the technology, it's just going to be a performance thing. It's going to be it can perform and turn on more bells.
Are we talking between current gen and next gen, or PC and console?
Well, any console and
technology.
I disagree personally. I mean, I don't disagree, but I think it's too early to say, because the thing is, like, the vast majority of the games that we're seeing are still cross-gen, right? So they are all actually beholden to the previous generation of technology. And in terms of next-gen only stuff, there's not really been a whole lot that's like really tentpole. Rift Apart is probably like the only example, I think. Maybe Flight Sim, if you want to count that. So I think it's too soon to say. And the other thing I would say is, I think another thing that's happening is because of really high demand resource taking features like ray tracing and just resolution in general, right? This like trying to hit 4K. I think that's why we're seeing more diminishing returns, because the amount of resource it takes just to have RT or just to get to native 4K or close to is too much for the benefit it's giving. But I think the reason that might change is once like FSR2 and, DLSS equivalents and stuff start coming into play, and resolution, basically they're not wasting so many resources or frame time on resolution. I do think we're going to start to see bigger and bigger graphical fidelity differences to what we've had in the past. I could be wrong, but that's
definitely
just
you're talking about between PS4 and PS5.
Well,
yeah, that's correct.
Well, what I'm saying is this: eventually, maybe the next generation, you're going to have games that look very similar throughout the entire generation. So it's going to be either like something small, like better quality, instead of missing effects like the ray tracing. There's a lot of missing effects when it comes to ray tracing. Like if you have reflections, you can't have global illumination. You know what I'm saying? You can't have all of it. So it'll look a little worse, but is it going to be worth a $2,000, $3,000 computer, or even $1,000 computer? You know what I'm saying? When you can get a $400 or $500 box and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Especially when these consoles become more like PC, meaning that they give you more options. It's not going to be as robust, but it's still going to have you more options. Like if you don't really care about ray tracing, you can turn it off for better frames and extra. We're already seeing it now. And in terms of the PC, it's going to be a little more you turn it on and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Either way, let's go to the to two topics. And get the fuck out of here. I'm going to say this. And I'm going to say this, and people are going to be pissed at what I'm going to say about The Last of Us. If you know me, then you know I do not like The Last of Us Part 2. As a matter of fact, I don't even like Uncharted 4 that much. honestly. And my reasoning is I feel like when Naughty Dog actually they struck this formula of cinematic experiences, it made me not like that company in general. I like the more gameplay centric games that they used to make, the Jack and Dexters and the racing games and stuff like that. And as soon as they went to Uncharted, it was like more flash, and they tried to do storylines and et cetera, et cetera. And I didn't have a problem with it.
People.
Huh?
Kill a million meaningless people.
Say that one more time.
I was saying just kill a lot of meaningless people where like there's not like stories of just like you're just going through endless rows of people after people that's not really super impactful.
No. I'm not talking about that type of stuff. It's just, to me, the gameplay it was just like.
So, I really disagree with that, but I'll let you finish and then I'll give my rebuttal.
So to me, the Naughty Dog formula was well made cutscene, right? This quasi exploration that was so hand-holdy, you know what I'm saying, that you can only go one way to really find it. You know what I mean? And then they have a shooting encounter. And then another well-produced cutscene. And then some sort of exploration that was really rudimentary. And then a fighting. And they did that 4 times. You know what I mean? With all the Uncharted games. Now, they started to break free from that and be a little bit more freeform with the bigger, more intricate levels of The Last of Us. You know, so I was like, okay, they're going in the right direction. And then they made The Last of Us Part 2, which had an extremely tumultuous time in development. So I wanted to just say that, because what I'm going to say about The Last of Us Remake is, I don't think, I mean, if they're using the same assets as The Last of Us 2, I don't consider that next generation because it was already on the PlayStation. Having better filter for the hair or just better shadows isn't considered next generation for me, especially since this is only going to be released on the PS5. That's number one. Number two, there was a whole fucking debacle about tests. That's what I wanted to actually talk about. Because I already know what's going on with this one. There's a lot of issues with the fandom of The Last of Us, where you can't say anything critical about this fucking series without these rabid fucking what's that chick name again, the rapper? What the fuck? She calls herself Barbs. What the fuck is her name? Fuck. What the fuck is her name? She's always with Lil Wayne. She has the pink hair. What the fuck is her name? I can't think of it. But regardless of the matter is, you can't say anything about this particular game, and it just pisses me off. Anything crucial, not even like if it's valid, you can't. I mentioned online that I did not like. I said that Tess looks fucking old, really old, and all these motherfuckers came out and said that I was a fucking beard-necked incel that can't get any pussy for some reason. Like, how the fuck did you get to that conclusion?
But why do you pay attention to those toxic people? Because you'll always get that on both sides. You'll get some people who say it's just social justice crap. You'll get some people who say you're an incel just for not liking, but you got to drown out that noise, man. There's always going to be that kind of, low level shit on social media. It's just always going to be the case. And I'm sure some of those people who said that to you, they may not even believe it. They may just be trying to get a rise out of you because you criticize their favorite plastic box or game or whatever.
I mean, at the end of the day, the PS3 had enough fidelity to make an old bitch look old and a young bitch look young. So, so for Resident Evil 2 Remake, there was some, and Resident Evil 3, there was some issues with the models for Jill and all the other characters. And the reason why was because I remember Resident Evil 3 came out and they were like, oh, she looks ugly. Jill looks ugly.
Mm.
And I'm like, and everybody was like, oh, because she's not hot enough or whatever case is. She's a pretty girl, whoever they modeled her after. You know what I mean? But think about it. Resident Evil was on PS1. they barely had fucking faces. You know what I'm saying? So you just had to reimagine the whole thing. These characters in for the PS3 Last of Us were pretty much, you can understand what they would look like. There were a lot of emotional cutscenes, not because of the context, but the facial expressions. And that one in particular, and everybody should know, Tess was my favorite character out of The Last of Us Part 1. So that's why it hit home for me. And that was one of my favorite cutscenes on how she was almost upset at the fact that she got fucking bit. Like, she went through all of that shit only to be, that was her demise. So, you know, she was so saddened by the fact and angry, and she ate that. I believe this summed it up perfectly, and I'll let you go, Nips. This summed this shit up so perfect to me. What this person said. It was exactly how I felt. They said the first one, she looks angry and sad, but then accepts her fate and eat those emotions. That's exactly what I saw. This one, it's like so heavy-handed. She's sad and all this other shit, and then she doesn't even look like the same character. Like, I didn't think that you didn't need a reimagining. And then on top of it, Tess was not the same age as Joel, like, ever. Joel was already like 35 when the pandemic happened, and 20 years later, he would have been 55, right?
Yeah, Tess is 50. Tess is 50 and Joel is 50, mid-50s.
Tess was never... Where'd you get 50 from?
Yeah, that's her official age from Last of Us.
Where'd you get it from?
I don't know, it was posted online, I just saw.
Just now? Because I feel like that's
like a while back. I don't know if it was in an interview or something like that, but her age is 50. So it's more likely that they just made her character model look too young in the first one.
Well, I'm going to have to see those receipts, even if...
Yeah, and basically, I was just
saying she was in her 40s.
Yeah, no, she's 50 apparently, exactly 50. But yeah, I was going to say, like, to your point about reimagining or whatever. So I posted up on the Jumbotron. All they've done is make her look like her actual actress. And then I think in terms of the emotions and stuff, what they've said is this new game, it way more accurately maps the the mocap from the facial anim. So whatever reactions we're seeing in this new remake is just going to be closer to what the original mocap was. Whereas before, because they didn't have the same fidelity and muscle movement and structure and everything like that, the developers basically have to hand animate some of the reactions because it can't mimic the actual recording from the data of the face. Whereas now it's like an exact mapping. So what you're seeing in the new version is how it was originally acted, and what you saw in the previous version was basically had some artistic touch-up basically by the developers because of the hardware deficiency. So you may not prefer the new one, but it will be original, more authentic to what the actors actually acted.
Then I'm going to need to see the behind the scenes because that looks so different. Like, it doesn't even look the same mood, the same type of feelings aren't like pulled with this one. It's not because I have rose-tinted glasses. They just look so different. And to me, a sad look is not Tess on how they depicted her. You know what I'm saying? It to me, it was already... She wouldn't be sad. It was accurate in terms of what her personality was on the PS3 version. Fine, whatever the case is. Let me ask you this. You mentioned that they made her look closer to, if we were to believe that she's 50, closer to her actress, right? Well, how come Marlene doesn't look like her actress?
So I don't think she replicates the actress at all, does she? From what I understand.
No, she does. Because it's behind the scenes.
I haven't seen the actress, so I don't know.
There's beyond. She's a very pretty girl. She's a very pretty woman.
Yeah.
And Naughty Dog.
If I had to guess, it's probably because the real actress is probably around the right age for Tess, whereas the real actress for Marlene is probably much younger than the real Marlene. So it probably is, if I had to guess, it's probably that. But I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what age the actress of Marlene is and what age Marlene is.
Well, Marlene probably was in her 30s when The Last of Us came out. That's number one.
Yeah, because I would say everyone in the remake looks older now, even Joel and even Ellie. They all look older. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe like because Joel looks way older than he did too.
Yeah, but notice how nobody complained about Joel though. Nobody complained about Joel looking old, because we already understood he's near 60.
Yeah, but she's 50. It's not that far off. So I would say, honestly,
why does Joel look old? Why didn't? How can I put it? There's a huge disparity between the old test and the new test. Even the PS3 version, Joel looked old. I mean, he looks older now, but there's like extra fidelity for the wrinkles and shit like that. Fine, perfect.
Yeah.
The problem there is that I have a feeling, and I'm going to say this, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog has a thing with uglifying their characters.
Damn, you really said that.
Yeah. So you know what? And
why does Marlene look like she's from The Color Purple now? What's happening?
I mean, you may be right, but I actually think like it fits The Last of Us because they're in a post-apocalyptic, like civilization has died. Kind of, they should look beat up and fucked up. I actually think they still look a bit too clean, honestly. Like, because I know in that kind of scenario, I'm gonna look like fucking shit. I'm not worried about bloody. Looking pretty and grooming myself. I'm worried about survival. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think it is like in terms of immersion, everything they're doing with the changes, I personally think it's more accurate to what it should be. I get it may not be like as artistically, it's different, but I think within the realms of the storyline, it fits. I think that's how the first game should have been closer to
Gamecast, do you think she's ugly to you or just in general as a human being? Because
who's ugly? Wait, who's ugly? Who's ugly?
I mean, you said Marlene. They made Marlene ugly, right?
No, I didn't say Marlene looks ugly. I said she looks like she's from The Color Purple.
From The Color Purple, what's that?
She looks like she's one of the cast members from The Color Purple. Like she looks
I haven't seen that. So
she looks very close to Whoopi Goldberg.
I'm assuming they just have some really whack characters on there, but I don't know.
No,
but maybe
the Color Purple is a movie. It's a how can I put it? It's a movie about the poorness of black people, and it's put out almost like slavery time, close around that time. You know what I mean? It's not that close, but like.
All right, you said Naughty Dog does this on like a regular basis. So can you name some other characters from the other franchises, or just The Last of Us? Other examples.
So there was a change when Amy Hennig left. That's when all of this started happening.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever is happening, they had this thing where, because even if, like for instance, Abby from The Last of Us Part 1, Part 2, her actual character, the actress that they based her off of, the model, she doesn't look like the same girl. Like they uglified her,
Yeah, Abby looks like the mocap actor. She does.
No, but I
say uglified. I'm
not saying
it doesn't
look like her.
Low key. I think they just made it more realistic to the world, though, right? Because the real when we see the real actress, like she's in 2021, 2022 with social media and makeup, and like that's not going to be.
No, but people can look naturally pretty and have
but come on, man. If you're in a post-pandemic and you're
features, it's natural to look pretty. It's not.
Yeah, but
it's not like every woman is ugly without makeup.
Abby is part of the WLF or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Like all they do all day is like hunt and fight, and I don't think, and she's got a gym right next to her bedroom or whatever. Like she lives outside. Like I really don't think she would be of that kind of a girl.
She looked like she could beat you up, Nib.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how it should be. She's like a warrior, basically. She's like a
I'm not talking about her. I'm not talking about her body how big she
Yeah,
is.
but
I'm
what
saying
I'm
her
saying is, I
face.
don't think she would be. I think she would be look a bit like, like uglified, as you say, because it's just, I would personally think that if she looked too pretty, I would, it would be the opposite. Like, hold on a minute, like you're in this post-apocalyptic world, and you're doing all this shit all day long and fighting and battling and whatever, and what you got the cleanest
I
face
mean,
in the
how
world.
come movies can get away with it though, then, and games
Yeah,
can't?
but it is immersion breaking in movies. Do you think the Last of Us movie is going to be like that, or they're going to look grimy as
In
fuck? They're going to look grimy as
Okay.
fuck.
So look at the inspiration for The Last of Us, which is The Walking Dead, right? It wasn't like there was like they didn't have makeup over there. I mean, especially the black woman with the dreadlocks. You can look dirty or stressed out and not just look. You add unibrows and shit like that to characters just to
Yeah,
be like, oh, I don't like that. That's the male gaze.
to be honest, like
I don't want you to look at her like that.
to be honest, I think it depends. Like, because I have this thing, I think there's a time and a place depending on what media you are. So there are some shows like Teen Wolf. I watched the other day, Teen Wolf a few months back. My wife was watching it, and I'm like, this shit is so funny. Like everyone looks like a model, right? And because it's Teen Wolf, like it's different. Like if you watch Beverly Hills 90210, yeah, you best believe everyone's gonna look like they have fucking, 20 million pounds worth of plastic surgery, and that's fine. Like, but I think different if you're trying to be like extremely raw, realistic, you want to be taken seriously, you want that immersion factor, it's different. Like certain films and certain shows that they're not going to go that route where everything's glossed up. They're going to be like, nah, this shit is. And I can actually point to like an Indian movie actually, because most Bollywood is glossy and glammy as fuck, right? But there's this one
Yep.
was one film called Company. It's a true story about basically Indian mafia.
Mhm.
And what happened was this like pretty boy actor, he went for the role, and they were like, "Nah, this ain't one of those kind of movies, mate. Like you're way too prettied up. You look way too clean." He's like, "What the hell? Like no one said that to me." So he apparently didn't shower for like almost a month, and he left like all the grime, everything, and he went back to audition, and they gave him the role. But because that show was it had a different vibe. It wasn't trying to be clean cut. It wasn't trying to have pretty people. It was trying to be really realistic. And I think that's where they're going with the new Last of Us. And I'm sure Last of Us 3 is probably going to be even more disgusting and grimy and have more hard shit. And everyone's going to look even more cut up and fucked up. And, we're going to see that they've been weathered. That
But
they've
it
been
wasn't
through it.
like Tess was like a fucking bombshell. Like let's be real. Like what they ended up doing with Tess in this version is they broke her nose too. If you saw it, like that's what I mean by ugly fighting. Oh, I don't like the fact that her nose is too straight. So let's break the bridge of her fucking nose. Like shit like that. Like she could just be dirty. Like why not? You know what I'm saying? Or have extra wrinkles. She looked
I'm
like
not
a crack
seeing the
whore.
broken nose, dude. I'm looking at
Look
the
at her
picture
nose.
above.
Look at her nose. She has the flat.
Bro.
It's crooked. It's crooked. I'm not fucking stupid, yo. My Shurigan is on point. I'm gonna tell you, yo. She looks like
Yo, look at the
she.
jumbotron. That's a high res close up of her new facial model.
Look at the bridge. I'm gonna circle that shit and contrast it. I'm not
No,
playing
wait,
with
wait.
y'all.
It hasn't gone up on the jumbotron yet. Give me one sec.
So she looks like a crackhead, huh?
Honestly, when I want to,
Bro,
when
she
I want
looks
to
prettier
text,
than the lady in Starfield. I tell you that.
Yeah.
yo, what's going on with no? Okay, so let's move on from that one. Okay, so let's move on. I know a lot of people are gonna be pissed off with that
Yo,
shit.
wait. Let me just say, get my bars off about Naughty Dog and gameplay, right? Because I do agree with you about the exploration. Like it is very derivative, basic exploration because
Oh
it's
yeah.
really. Yeah, it's basically an icebreaker. It's a pacing setter. It's not really meant to be super mentally stimulating. It's more like here's our environments, have a breather, get off some dialogue before the next high octane situation. However, with the actual combat from Uncharted, I actually think Naughty Dog does not get enough credit for how competent their gameplay is. So with Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, Uncharted 4 especially, I think what Naughty Dog, like where they excel in their gameplay, is the mobility and fluidity, and also level design, right? So obviously, I'm a big fan of Gears of War. You play like the Gears of War train level, which is I think the final boss actually, and then you go back and play the Uncharted train level, and it's night and day between in terms of gameplay design, diversity, how you approach the level, the dynamism of it. And I think what Naughty Dog, what they basically try to do is all the shit that in the past would be a cutscene, we're trying to make it interactive, right? So collapsing buildings and all this other shit, hanging off chandeliers and out of, back of planes, that stuff which would have been CGI or pre-rendered cutscene, we're going to make actual gameplay, and they strive for that, and they achieve it. And also little things like in Uncharted 4, especially with the rope swing and you have the mudslide and everything. I think the approach options and the fact that you can switch like seamlessly between melee and sliding and swinging and climbing and ladders and everything, it's just that is the kind of the it factor of their gameplay. It's that fluidity and mobility and approach flexibility that you just don't get with a lot of other third person shooters. Like Gears of War, you run, take cover, pop out, shoot, run to the next. It's very simplistic compared to how you can play Uncharted, which, if you play it in a certain way, you look like fucking some badass, crazy Spider-Man adventurer type thing, like so dynamic. And I think Last of Us, even though it is more realistic, they still kind of push in that realm, because Last of Us 2, from the hiding, the prone, the roles, the way you can switch between contextual animations, throwing bottles into melee or whatever, the dodge mechanics, how you can dodge the melee attacks, it is supremely competent in its gameplay. In fact, I would say the two best playing third-person shooters in terms of gameplay in the world right now, my opinion, is Metal Gear Solid 5 and Last of Us 2. Metal Gear Solid 5 does the stealth side of things a lot better, whereas I think Last of Us 2 does the melee and actual gunplay combat side of things, or like the dynamic crafting and all that shit. So I think you're underselling how competent the gameplay is in the Naughty Dog games. I actually think they do certain aspects of gameplay better than any other developer when it comes to the combat gunplay and the diversity of the melee, stealth, crafting, and all the rest of it.
Are you just referring to third party? I'm not third party. Third person, right?
Yeah, third person. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I was just gonna say, because I prefer some first person stuff like Destiny or some other ones where they have really good gunplay. But I get what you're saying as far as third person.
I get what you're saying. Like the technology, like the technology altogether, right? I get the technology, but coming from, and I would say the pinnacle of their gameplay was the multiplayer in Uncharted 2. To me, their level design was absolutely fucking stellar. Absolutely stellar. You know what I mean? Because it was so dynamic. The actual humans can do everything that you can do, and they gave you a playground, a sandbox, so to speak. And that was great. That was absolutely great.
But in Uncharted 4 multiplayer, you have even more flexibility and freedom, though, with the swinging on the towers and dropping down on people and sliding around on the map.
That's what I mean. Now, in terms of The Last of Us, I give you that. But to me, the games, I'll put it like, because I'm such a fan of the older ones, right?
Yeah.
The old Naughty Dog. I feel like it's too linear for me. It's too focused on what they have, and everything else falls apart. Like, what I mean? You can't have you can't have a platformer that it's really good at, it's really good at you're really good at jumping, but the level design is like shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you could do all these things. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, what I'll say is like, so sometimes I have the opposite effect. I know it's going to make me sound fanboyish, but whatever, right? When I play like the Order 1886, Gears of War, Quantum Break, whenever I play these games, I'm like, bro, why can't they do the level design and flexibility of the Naughty Dog games? Because it will be like, okay, here's an arena, and here's some waist high, which, to be honest, Naughty Dog used to do as well, right? and here's some waist high things, and that's the extent of your flexibility. Like it's very derivative. And then in, for example, like Quantum Break, when you run forward and say you hit like a barrier, you just stop dead in your tracks. You hit a paint bucket, and the fucking paint bucket will literally stop your character dead in its tracks. Whereas in a Naughty Dog game, Nathan Drake or whatever, or Ellie, they'll just contextually slide straight over that fucking wall, or they'll knock the paint bucket over, and there's just a level of detail. It's different. And for example, I've completed Last of Us 1 and Last of Us 2 like many times, all the Naughty Dog games basically. And usually when I play them, what I try and do is how can I approach this combat scenario differently? And the amount of diversity and variety in the way I can approach certain combat scenarios is staggering, dude. Like, there's a staggering amount.
Yo, what's the name of the group that doesn't talk in Last of Us 2?
Oh shit! You mean the whistle people?
Yeah, they have a name though. It's
How did I forget that?
Come on, we should know this, guys.
We should know this. I'll be fair. I haven't played it in a year and a half.
It's not. The
Seraphites, yeah.
Yeah.
See, everybody would act like I hate them. I gave them a fucking chance. I can't help because they made Marlene look like a damn slave. When I saw the new model, she looked like she's about to sing.
Yo,
Lord Jesus, please, Lord, send Ellie to her mother in the name of Jesus. That's what she looks like. She looks like that. She looks like slavery time. Why are you ugly at her like that? Why you did that?
Bro, she's in the middle of an apocalypse. She's trying to find the cure.
I'm tired of you, Nibs. Because you know what? Why is Abby beating the shit out these fucking zombies, knowing that fucking mist and spores is spraying all over the fucking place? Why did she take that mask off of the fucking zombie and put on Lev, knowing that shit? I'm tired of y'all giving these motherfuckers excuses.
Wait, Game Pass, do you actually
I'm sorry, pause. I'm gonna answer that question. Y'all give it, look, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Y'all making your own storylines for Naughty Dog.
Nah, man, we're not. You know what you said about her putting the mask on Lev? That's such an important thing, because basically here's someone who's always been selfish and only had a tunnel vision about what she wants to achieve in life, which is to get revenge, right? She's only ever done shit for other people with the WLF and stuff like that. And then finally she invests her care and time into Lev, right? Which is an exact parable of Joel and Ellie. It's the same thing, but people weren't willing to see it because they just hated
hold up. In America, we have this she's
putting Lev at risk with the fucking Miss Mildew spores on her fucking mask.
She's helping the ops. That's what
she's doing. She killed her. She killed Lev by doing that shit. Lev should have died and became a zombie. Here's all these spores. Hold on. Here you go, Lev. Like, she is beating the shit out these fucking zombie spores. Is flying all over the place. And you want to talk about post-apocalyptic wrankles? Stop.
No, but she's trying to help Lev, man. She's trying to help her get.
She's just helping the ops, bro. It's not cool. She's a traitor.
Look. I'm trying. Y'all add extra ad libs for fucking Naughty Dog. Man. Yo,
you just don't like. You don't like her.
I went online. Look, no, I went online, and somebody said, "Oh, wouldn't you look a little older if you were in a post-apocalyptic and you didn't have any water?" What are you talking about? Who said that she didn't have water? They just add extra storyline to this shit. I'm tired of it.
I mean, they're in Seattle, right? There's a lot of water over there. They're good.
I'm sick of y'all, yo. I get it. I know y'all like the game. I know y'all like it. Now, to answer your question, do I like the storyline? No. I don't like the storyline because it could have been done better.
100%.
It could have been done better, and it's not nothing to do with Joel.
Bro, but here's the thing. We could have a 3-hour conversation about the storyline. We'll do it another time. If you want to have a breakdown of the storyline and so many, I mean, shit, I could talk for England about this game. So we'll do it sometime, and then we'll have a back and forth.
Please, let's do it.
I don't mind it. I'm gonna say this, and I'm going to Starfield. We close up, right? Have anyone seen Invincible.
Yeah, amazing. You
Now
mean
you know
the
how.
cartoon one, yeah?
Yes. Now you
Yeah.
know how Omni-Man. That do you hate Omni-Man?
No.
No, right? Out of all the things that Omni-Man did, you telling me you don't hate him?
Yeah, I mean, I
No,
don't
I like the
hate him, but
character.
I think he's a villain, yeah.
No, I didn't. No, that's not what I said. I said, do you hate him?
No, I don't hate him.
I don't know, man. He's a fictional character, so no, I wouldn't.
Oh Lord, please! You know what I'm doing.
I mean, if I was in the world of Omni-Man, yes, I
No,
would
no,
hate
no,
him.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about you personally. His character. Do you hate his character?
No, it's a wicked character.
That character.
I'm gonna. Okay, so I'm gonna say what you're not saying. I'm gonna say this. He did some awful, awful, awful things, just like Walter White from Breaking Bad, right? But I still could empathize with this character.
Yeah.
I still could. He was very human, and to me, that's the difference between writing. You have Abby that did what she did, right? And you have Omni Man that did what he did, which was way
Mm.
in orders of magnitude worse than
Mm.
what Abby did. But the way that they wrote her made you not care for this character at all, and they tried to force you to like her
Bro, I prefer
by.
Abby to Ellie, man.
No, Ellie was a bitch. No, Ellie was fucking
Uh,
insufferable.
See,
She
I
was insufferable the
definitely.
whole time, yo. I don't like her. She's not funny anymore. She's miserable. She's just. I'm like. I get it. I get
She's
why
just
she felt.
ungrateful, bro. That's just such. She doesn't care. She
She was
just
ungrateful. She was selfish. You know, what's the guy's name again? The Asian dude, Glenn. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not Glenn. It was what is
You
his name
just
again?
did
I'm sorry,
Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Jesse.
Walking
Call him
Dead.
Jesse. Jesse. I'm sorry. The end result happened the same. Either way, when Glenn was like, "We should just go home. Come on, Ellie. It's not worth it. I'm going, whether you like it or not."
Yo, Gamecast, explain to me why you didn't empathize with Abby, because I hella empathize with her.
You know why I didn't empathize with Abby?
Go on.
Because they tried to force me to like her. I don't like that shit. They did this stupid thing, which I could see through. My Sharingan was open, and this shit was ready to see the bullshit. When Abby interacted with a dog, she's petting them, is cute, but then they go to fucking Ellie, she's stabbing that bitch to death, right?
But all media is emotional manipulation, because the whole Last of Us
Oh
one
no no
arc.
no no no! We're not doing this. I'm
It is though.
getting no, but the same thing.
You think getting
That's why
us
you.
to, like Joel and Ellie, number one, right? Playing
Mm-hmm.
off dad vibes, oh, the helpless little girl and the daddy looking after her, protecting her. You don't think that was an emotional manipulation, and you don't
Oh
think that
yeah,
was
that's why everybody liked. See when it came to Joel, right? Because I don't think that Joel was that horrible of a character. I think he did what he needed to do. Like everybody would be horrible in that kind of world. Everybody would be. There's no saints. Even Ellie killed somebody at a young age before she even met Joe. Nobody's great in his world. They're all fucked up. So for everybody to take it just to make the story work for The Last of Us Part 2 and say that Joel was so horrible and stuff like that, I guarantee you when they come out with this fucking I said this before, you probably didn't see it. When they come up with this remake, they're going to retcon the fuck out the end of the game. They're going to have Jerry in there, and he's going to be, oh God, are you Joe Miller? I heard you did horrible things. Please spare me. I got a daughter. And then you're going to have fucking Abby in the background. Please, that's my father. Oh no. And then Joe's going to be like, I don't give a fuck about you and your daughter. Zab. They're going to retcon the shit out of that, and everybody's going to clap like seals. Oh
so
my
Game
God,
Cast.
I get it.
Game Cast. You know what I'd say to that? I think the problem is like some viewerships, right? When you have a main character cast, right, they're so invested in that person that they do overlook flaws and stuff. They don't read between the lines, because Joel was always positioned like that in the first game. That was always my takeaway, because when Tommy says, "Oh, it wasn't worth it, right? The shit that you made us do to survive." And Joel says when there's that guy, he pretends to be injured, and they get attacked, and he finds all the children's clothes and the adult clothes and shoes and shit. And she says, "How did you know?" And he says, "Because I used to be on the other side." So Joel has done fucking heinous shit. Imagine you were someone who literally stopped innocent people so you could murder them and steal their clothes and supplies and everything, right? Like doing that hundreds of times. So he has been a shitty person, but I think some people, it wasn't obvious enough, or they couldn't read between the lines. So they may retcon that, I don't know, but if they do, I think it would just be an indictment on audiences, because some audiences, they just couldn't they couldn't see that stuff. And I kind of feel that way even about like Daenerys Stormborn from Game of Thrones. Like, this lady is a colonizer, bro. Like, she mass murders people and she wants to take over the whole of Westeros, but because she's the main character and pretty or whatever, you overlook all that shit. But nah, she's, at the end of the day, she's like an imperialist colonizer, but we overlook it because of our, like, the way we cling on to main characters. So yeah, I don't know.
Nib. Does Last of Us 2, does it feel contrived to you at all? Because, like, I feel like the plot is sort of like if Nathan Drake, like one of the baddies he kills in like chapter 2, one of those guys' sons comes back and kills Drake's family. You know, I feel it's like that kind of. You know, it doesn't feel natural like Last of Us 2. It just feels contrived and forced. And
But what is that, because you don't like?
No, it just feels like
does do?
you got a character that was like some rando in the last game. I mean, he was the doctor at the end, but he had no face, no name, no backstory. Just they could have got any other character in there.
They could have. Right, that's what I'm saying. But
it's
like, they could have. To me, they could have did a lot of different things. To me, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have to go that way.
I think that particular character though makes sense, because it's not just like so she didn't just lose her dad, who was just looking for a cure for humanity, but she also lost the community that raised her, right? The Fireflies. She grew up in their encampments. So how many how many Fireflies did Joel ace at the end? He basically was the reason for the end of the Fireflies, right? Which is why Abby, the whole game towards the post game, is her just seeking out the Fireflies, because the remnants of it, because that is the only community she ever knew and grew up with. So let
me ask you this. Hold on. Wait. Well, hold on. Let me ask you this. How horrible was that father? If you want to sit there and make storylines for Naughty Dog, to sit there and murder a fucking girl for something that wasn't even guaranteed. There was other people that they found, and it killed them.
Okay, but so what? Like, every time we go to war, every person who goes to war is a sacrifice. Like, you're saying they shouldn't sacrifice people every day in medicine.
I think that they should have pumped their brakes, especially knowing that the procedure.
Look, one child, even if it was my son.
Wow, lies. I hope you never ever.
I literally had this discussion with my wife after we, she was watching me play it. But it's like, if we had a child, would we give up our child for the chance to save humanity?
No.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I would. Because
no, Look,
yeah,
I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna say this in terms of humanity. How horrible humanity is. You know what? I'll say this.
Game Pass, would you let your son or daughter go fight in the military?
It's their decision.
Well, there you go. And Ellie made the decision to give her life.
Ellie did not know that they were going.
Right in the beginning, she knew what it was.
They did not know that she did not know that she was going to die.
She says in the middle. She says because don't forget Marlene raised her, right? Marlene raised her. So the conversation she's having with Joel, she would have had 1,000,000 times with Marlene. And she says, even if it is going to cost me my life, yeah, she says my life has to be worth something, right? But Joel, being selfish because now he's got his daughter vibes back, didn't want that, right? And it's fine. I understand it. Like,
Wow, I
yeah,
can't believe you. Shame on you, Nibs.
nah, it is. He's basically willing, in order for
No,
him
I'm not.
to,
We're not talking about him. No.
yeah.
We ain't talking about him. We
Yeah,
talking
because
about
look, the
her.
greater
Like
good, the greater good has to always outweigh. You're saying, can I save
yeah.
millions of people to lose one life or 10? It's still worth it. Even 20 or
Nibs,
100.
It's
Nibs,
worth
based
it.
on your
It's worth
logic,
it to.
hold on. Based on
Yeah.
your logic, right? In the beginning of Last of Us 2, when Abby kills Joel, right? So based on your logic, when Abby saves Joel, should they just be square then? Because
What do you mean when Abby saves Joel?
I mean, when Joel saves Abby, should they be square? Should Abby just forgive Joel?
No, of course not, because they're flawed human beings, aren't they? But I mean,
That's
you asking me,
exactly why humanity. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. When this pandemic started, right? I needed some disinfectant spray to protect me
yeah,
from CV, right? And no one gave a fuck about me and my family when it came to this fucking spray. They bought that shit in droves. They stockpiled that shit.
yeah,
That's
but
the
Game Pass,
humanity. That's
there
the
are
humanity I'm
always
supposed to be saving.
Yeah, but there's always selfish
La la
people in
la.
this world. There's an infinite number of selfish people, but there
Yeah.
are also good people, right? Like, it's not like if you said to me, "Oh, Nib, like you could sacrifice your life for a 10% chance to save humanity." Yeah, I'm gonna do it, dude. Because yes, it could be for nothing, but also it could be for something of a greater magnitude than anything anyone could imagine. So you gotta sometimes, like, obviously Ellie made that decision because of everything that
I don't
happened, and
think so.
she had survivor's
You
guilt,
also have
basically.
faith that
Oh
someone's not
wait.
just lying to you.
Let me throw something. You said it was her decision, right? With life or death, right? That's
Yeah,
what you said. That's what you say.
yeah,
You stand by that? You stand by that?
yeah. But here's the thing, right?
Oh,
The one thing I do think that where they were cruel, is I think because she knew that she was gonna die for it, but I mean she was willing to sacrifice her life for it, but they didn't say she was gonna die. Then what happened at the end? They took that choice away from her, and I think they took that choice away from her just in the off chance that she does say no and changes her mind, that they would basically have to forcefully kill her.
she is a 14-year-old, right? Are you there?
At that age, normally the parent would make the decision because she's not of age.
Not only,
Yeah, and
not
Marlene is
only
her
that,
parent.
right? Marlene said to bring this chick all the way over there, and she didn't tell her about it was going to kill her. That's number one. Number two,
Marlene is her parent, by the way.
we mean her parent, her adopted parent.
Yeah, as in Marlene is her legal guardian. Yeah, in that world, because after she says she was raised by Marlene. Marlene says, "I raised that girl." Obviously, don't you understand how I feel? Like, you know what the weight it has on me.
Are you taking this from The Last of Us Part 2 or 1?
I can't remember which of the games, but she tells
I
Joel.
think that was The Last of Us Part 2, actually, and that a lot of that shit was retconned anyway. But I'll say this: she's too young to be making those fucking decisions. That's all I'm saying. And on
But you
top of it,
can't you can't
when
wait.
Joe got there, right?
Mm.
What did they do when he tried to save her life? They gun butted him.
Yeah, and
They were all excessive.
yes, because they want to save, they want a cure for humanity. Like that's
And you think that what they had to cure, they were going to be fair with this cure?
Listen, I'm not saying that, but a cure is still a cure. I do think that they would have used that as a power play, which is the same with all humanity. Like whether it's the United States or whichever, Russia, China, yeah, everyone's going to be looking out for themselves. I'm not denying that, but it's still a cure. It's still a cure for humanity and could fundamentally change life as we know it, right? From what it is today. So I do think, yeah, in that sense, the result absolutely outweighs the risk.
Wait, why
I'll
did
say
they rush
this.
the surgery though? They could have just done some experiments, waited a couple months, talked to her about it. They just rushed that shit
because
in
it was
3 days.
it was manipulation to make you feel a certain way. That's all it is. Like you said
Oh
earlier.
god, it's just manipulation and just.
All storytelling is a manipulation, dude. Like all storytelling.
They wanted you to feel a specific way, and that's all it boiled down to. Which is cool. I get it. We're going to go to the last part, right? I always love having this conversation. As much as you guys think I don't like having this conversation or whatever the case is, like I hate the game. It's always funny. It's always interesting to hear how people feel about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I don't care about humanity like that. I would have did the same thing.
but that's what's great about it though, because everyone does have a different take. Like I don't I'm not like criticizing you for having a different take. There's loads of people I've spoken to who feel your way. Like the other day, me and Sumo were discussing it, and he said straight up, if they're trying to kill my child, nah, fuck it, man. He'll murder all of them so he can save his child. It's fine. It's just a difference of opinion. Like, you know, but that's what makes it interesting, and the ending especially so fucking divisive.
I feel like honestly they could have definitely did the story better and still had the same type of, you know, pieces of the story. Fine, whatever. Let's go to the Starfield, right? Because you know we could talk about that shit all day. And I've like since the game's released, I've consistently talked about that game. Oh boy!
All right, I'll make this.
Yeah, go.
Tess is in a post-apocalyptic world,
Jesus.
and she's 50 years old. What's the character from Starfield? What's her excuse for looking that way?
Yo, they really didn't even fix the eye tracking. They didn't even fix the eye tracking. Yo, it is horrible. One eye was tracking something, and then the other eye was tracking another thing.
I really wish they didn't. From my understanding, they just made they tried to use an updated version of their own in-house engine.
Exactly.
I really wish they had just used something else. Besides, I think it's Creation Engine that they use, because you know the Fallout games and all those have never looked the best.
It totally feels like Fallout and Skyrim, but with slightly prettier visuals.
No, like that. I looked it up. The engine is literally just a newer version of the engine that was used on those. The only thing I will say, and again, I'm not excusing it, some engines may not work best for the kind of game. Like, I'll give an example. Didn't they use like Frostbite in Battlefront and in like Madden or something like that? And they complained about like how it didn't really work well with that versus the other one. So it may have been something where like another engine probably would have made more sense and looked a whole lot better, but maybe certain aspects of the game, the way they're designing it, would have been harder, to where they just felt maybe we'll spend more time on fixing the bullshit that was like what you're saying than causing where it would be more headache and more issues development in another engine for the open world portion.
When I first saw for the first time, and I went to the gym, and I actually I wanted to see it for myself. I literally went to see this whole presentation for myself. And there's so much wrong with this presentation. You know what I mean? And I was like, I cannot believe that this game is in the state that it's in. It was no way this game was going to come out in November. There was no way in hell. And I wouldn't be surprised if the game gets delayed again. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? They even given it like, but you need more time. But one of the things I wanted to kind of tell everybody, since you guys are here, is that I was like, they have 1,000 planets, right? And what I believe is going on is that they do have a random generator when it comes to like these planets. They have parameters, so it can only go, generate certain things. I don't even know if it has day and night cycles. But one of the things is that I was like, I guarantee you, it's not going to be a universe with 1,000 planets and different solar systems. This is going to be like, it loads this particular planet in instance using procedural generating, and then when you leave off this planet, it loads the space instance. You're not going to be able to get to and from you know, the planet like No Man's Sky. And sure enough, he came out of nowhere and said it just wasn't needed. What do you guys think? And I'm sorry, hold on for a minute. Let me just do this really quickly, because I'm not sure if these guys are. So the first thing I want to do is, I know Xbox fan. I'm gonna get you Don at right after Xbox fan. What do you got to say? What did you asked? You requested to be here. So what was your request?
Oh, yo, bro. What's up?
What's going on?
I was gonna say something about The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, go on.
I agree. I think the story is like they fucked it up. They made like a lot of mistakes with the writing, because I think the revenge part was not like something the fans wanted. But I was gonna go back to like just the engine and just how the engine works and how to do like the facial animations. I think it's next level. It's definitely on Unreal Engine 5 stuff, and the game came out in 2018 for a PS4 system, right? So I think The Last of Us 1, like just going from the engine, is gonna be on the next level. It's gonna like blow like a lot of things away, and I just find it amazing that the way they're handling the engine right now with The Last of Us, and
then
that's all I was gonna say. Yeah.
And then Don, what you had to say?
Oh, I was gonna say, I know you guys are changing the topic to the Starfield stuff, but I was gonna say, because I was waiting to say something about The Last of Us, that I don't think was it Ellie, like, if he even like killed her off to get the cure, like it wasn't even like for certain, right? Wasn't it like a thing where like they didn't know at all? Like there was like a dozen of couple of test subjects before her that were failed.
Yeah, basically there was a chance it was possibly not going to be successful, but right. I don't think they
that would have been even more for me. Like if he was like the father state that he saw her as, I mean, that would have been like, oh, then definitely not. Because if I had a kid and it was only a chance that it would happen, like imagine how bad you'd feel if it didn't work out. Like you'd just lose both. Like you wouldn't get humanity back and lose your daughter.
Yeah, but it's not. But it was the chance, isn't it? It's not like a guaranteed thing. But if I was like, say, fighting for my country, right? I'm fighting for the chance that I might defeat a dictator or whatever it may be. But you know, it might not be successful, but it's not in vain, even if you die, because it's a sacrifice, isn't it?
Yeah, but sometimes I don't know. I feel like your sacrifice might be in vain if it's just like
can I say this? Let me say this. In terms of, like I said, Omni-Man, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have to demonize. I feel like it was lacking nuance with Abby and stuff like that. But they demonized them like so badly. And I like the way that they did, like Walter White and Omni-Man and stuff like that. That was
like,
done,
even though they're villains, you
much
still
better. Right.
In a way.
You know what I'm saying? You kind of understood. Right. You kind of understood
like
where
Thanos,
they. Yeah,
it's like a Thanos thing where it's like you
Thanos
understand where they're coming from. You know what I mean? Like you understand it. I mean, you just may disagree with it, but you still can understand and somewhat like them for certain ways. You know, for me, Walter White was a good character, but yeah, sorry I cut you off, man.
No. It's like in terms of that. Yeah, I mean, like for me, I don't know. Like it. Like I said, there's one of these days, Nibs, we have to get in there.
We don't want to go too much into that.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm mad. I didn't even see you guys, but I guess it was for the best at this. But one of these days,
yeah.
all four of us can talk about that shit.
Give me a couple hours space, but yeah,
I know. Probably when the game releases and stuff like that. But
yeah,
what do you guys think about Starfield?
I like the way it looked. In some ways, I saw the issues with the FPS stuff, and I hope they ironed that out because it did look a little rough on the corner, as you say. But no, I like the whole concept of the space traveling system. I want to see a lot more, obviously, because we've only saw like a snippet of some of the, I guess, space kind of dogfights you can have, and I want to see the different ammunitions you could use, and maybe like those different variants. But no, in general, I liked it.
Okay.
I was gonna say I'm a type person for I like the RPGs. I like the story stuff. Yeah. When people are talking about the stuff about going off and on the planet, I don't like games that make me do too much shit. like adding all these whatever extra. Like I don't care for all that. I don't want to think like, for example, like I'm paying Mass Effect 3 right now, right?
Yeah.
I like the things of, or like our Destiny, where it's like, hey, I'm going to a planet now, I'm going on the planet or whatever, right? I don't need to do every single piece of whatever, and I'm perfectly fine. I'm fine with what they have. I rewatched it in 4K, like on a nice 4K TV and all that, and to me, it looks better there. It still has its issue, but when it comes down to it, I'm not a Fallout person, so I'm gonna try it because it's on Game Pass. But I don't expect to finish it unless something really grabs me from the space theme.
Yeah, that's why I hope the space combat's very in depth and they have like multiple things where it's just not like you fly over to a planet and like it's back and forth kind of thing. It's like, oh, I got to fly over here again. Like, I
But
hope they
I
make
don't
it
know
nice and
who that
entertaining.
was speaking about the flying planet thing, but wouldn't you say like one of the coolest aspects of No Man's Sky is sort of, picking out a planet, breaching the atmosphere, and when you first like
I've
get
never
in.
played that game.
Oh, okay. Because I will say there is
Yeah.
a novelty about when you bust through the atmosphere, and it's like the first time you see a planet, and it's like when you bust through, and then you're kind of scoping out, you're hovering along, trying to find some spot or a good place, getting a map, a feel of the land, and maybe you see animals and creatures and stuff, and there is definitely like a real nice adventure feel to that, and just kind of
it's kind of like it's good for immersion for sure. But it might get tedious to like have to fly around the planet if you have to go to a certain destination on that planet. But in
So
terms of
Don,
like,
do you just game on Xbox?
I have a Series X, a Switch, and a PS4. So I
Oh, nice, bro. I was gonna
switched
say,
between
bro.
Wait, pause, guys.
Starfield was your only hope this year
Hold,
if you were on Xbox.
Oh no,
hold
but I
on,
got the Switch just in case.
hold
You
on,
know
guys.
that's gonna
So Arsenic, we know that Joel's an anti-hero essentially. Like we got that. You know what I mean? We know about Walter White. We know about Omni Man and all these other people. We got that. We know. But in terms of what to me, they should have hired better people for engine creation and just mission structures. I think this game is going to be boring as fuck, honestly. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like it's going to be a watered
I don't know.
down.
It depends. Are you like a Bethesda like RPG fan? Like, do
No,
you like their older stuff?
no,
Oh, well, then
no,
you probably won't like this one, yeah.
no.
Because this one's definitely like that, and then they have some extra stuff on the side to do it. But like,
Don,
if
you
you're not big
realize
on
for a
Bethesda,
demo, they have to show their best, right? For a demo. That was their
Yeah.
best. Like, have you seen that God of War 2016
I think
demo?
it was a couple
Oh my
month old
god.
build, but yeah, no,
That's how you sell a game. This is how you just tell people, oh,
Can
that's
we
their
not have a
best.
So was
discussion
anybody?
of it? Can we not
Nibs,
get
are you
into
here?
that?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you
Nibs.
hear me?
Yeah. So I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you: were you impressed with what they showed?
So no, I was quite disappointed,
No,
but I'm not
no.
like I'm not. I do want to play the game still. It's just not what I was expecting, and that is kind of my own fault. One, Bethesda games have never, well, Fallout anyway, has never really been a looker. But I bought into the hype. Like I thought, oh yeah, new next gen only engine, the ground up. That it's going to look amazing. And it was kind of like more Bethesda. So I was all right, fine. They've never been totally about the visuals anyway. Cool. I think the bits that I was more disappointed in, and again, it is kind of a bit on me, is I really thought it was going to be more like Mass Effect-y. I thought they were going to have powers and abilities and stasis and all this other shit. It was going to be high-tech stuff. I thought because in the in-engine trailer, they showed such vast landscapes of like, it was quite plain looking. I thought they would have like cool traversal, like maybe like a buggy or
they
exoskeleton
might
and
have
shit.
that.
Yeah,
I mean, I
shit
don't
to
know.
make traversal more fun. But in the end, it just seemed very rudimentary. The exploration, even the space combat was very simplistic, and the gunplay I just thought looked janky, man. Like, you didn't have proper hit reactions and stuff, and it just, I don't know, it was a bit simplistic. That said,
Decent amount of
they
FPS
did
drops.
say they did say it was early in the game, right? So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a lot more to it, and they haven't shown it off yet. We'll
Right.
see more. So
They might show off later though, because I think I saw Todd Howard talking about they're gonna talk about it a
yeah,
lot more later, and
yeah,
over
I think
time
they
we're gonna
need
see more of
to
it.
from a
Yeah.
marketing point. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So that's why I hope for me graphically it does look better than their last one, which would be like Fallout 4. So it definitely does.
Oh yeah,
looks
I mean,
a
it
decent amount better,
100%,
but it's just
it
it's not like
100%
that
looks better.
difference, right? It's still a Bethesda game.
That,
Like
just
you can
realize
tell.
it's Bethesda.
Yeah, it's a Bethesda. And, for me, I'm a big like I've loved all their games in the past. And for like their main team, anyways, because 76.
But the
is
only
kind of
thing I
like
would
the side
say,
thing,
Don,
but
is
yeah.
there's been a lot of criticism on Sony for the cross-gen games, but you put Forbidden West against Starfield, the next-gen only. It's I get it.
It's
We're
interesting.
saying
It's just
Proper
they're
comparison.
definitely different games. Yeah, they're yeah. I don't know.
It's understood that it's a different game. Like that's like the thing is like since they're using random, procedural generation, I'm
Yeah.
expecting a lot of the workload to be handled. And to me, what it looks like it's going to do is going to have these planets. It's going to be curated. They said it's going to be 100 systems, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to
1,000
have?
planets.
Over 1,000
Yeah.
planets. Yeah.
Yeah, and what you going to have 10 planets per like system, or randomly some of them have 11 and other ones have not. Whatever the case is,
Yeah.
my situation when I look at what they're going to do is they're going to have probably one. What they say, 100 systems. They're probably going to have a few curated planets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the rest of the motherfuckers are going to be like
Maybe good
planets that
15.
are like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the
Plus
planets are
20.
going to be like No Man's Sky, right? And then they just randomly generate structures.
Just
Even
like random.
I don't even think like I'll put it this way. Like how No Man's Sky uses voxels, and voxels are, you can manipulate the fucking terrain and shit like that.
Yeah.
They don't have. It doesn't look like they have a voxel based system. Number one, number two. It looks like when he was getting the iron, it looked like the iron was just like kind of like just the only thing that's interactable. You just kind of scan the area, and it'll be like you just got to basically. It's not like breaking off
Right. It's kind of hard
the
to tell
actual
to
place.
see from like the small snippets they showed, but hopefully it is more than that because I think I was looking at some of the concept art as well to get kind of an idea of some other planets because I don't even think that's like all the planets like biomes. And there was just like one crazy one with like weird stuff on it. So I mean, I hope they do like more environmental like dangers too. Because do you guys remember that movie Interstellar when they land on that water planet? You see the huge wave. It's just like fucking scary as hell. Like if they could have something like that or something or something dangerous, like a planet that like you land on, like oh shit, bro.
I was expecting to see something like that in the trailer, but
So
like,
this is the thing, Gamecast.
that's the problem.
Like for me, and obviously I don't want to speak because I don't know what those 1,000 planets will have. I only have a guess, but I would personally prefer like far fewer planets. But as I've said before, like really curated planets, so they have like funky ass enemies and dinosaurs and cool stuff to collect and see, and give me some set pieces.
Pictures had some dinosaurs in it too. I don't know if you saw that. It was kind of crazy looking. It was weird.
They did. They had some dinosaur looking things, but I think it isn't going to be like what I mean. It's going to be basically the terrain.
It's a Bethesda
is
game where the
randomly
enemies don't move or nothing. They're static as fuck.
Well, not even just that. I think what they're going to end up doing is just kind of a randomly generated. I'm sorry. The terrain is going to be randomly generated or fixed to a particular equation.
Link,
and then you just
in here. I want to hear your thoughts on the game, dude. Like, because I know you're really hyped for it.
So it depends on the creatures and everything. Because I'm very hyped for the game as well. And
you said Link?
I hope.
Yeah, Link.
Yeah, Link. So
where is he?
He's in the bottom listening.
I don't see him. Oh, I see him.
But yeah, man, if they could do it right, though, I think this game could be really nice. But it's just a wait and see. For me, I have the expectation because I've always liked their games, but
I don't have any faith in
them. As long as it has a good story, that's all I care about. I'm not a side quest very much person, but I'm like, again, my favorite game is Witcher 3 because I love the story, the expansions, all that stuff. As long as that stuff's good, all that other discovery, whatever, is not that important to me personally.
Yeah, for me, I like a mix of both, like because sometimes I'll just do a lot of side missions and I was like adventuring a lot. So I mean, it's gonna be nice to go to different planets and see the different biomes and creatures and monsters.
I
or whatever.
did like the gravity because the gravity could pose.
Oh yeah, the gravity changes on different.
Yeah, it can pose a different gameplay elements. I will say that.
Also,
but I didn't see day and night. I didn't see like a time of day.
Yeah, I don't know. That would change on the galaxy or the different the system you're in, because there's different suns, and there could be one that's closer up to a planet, or I don't know.
But remember, you can't land on the planet either. So that to me, because you can't land on the planet, it's kind of like, well, how is that going to work?
They might project just the sun, and then I don't know. I'm not a developer, but
this game was supposed to release in 5 months, right? But and I know it's just a
That's
demo,
crazy.
and I get it could be early, but as far as demos go, that there is actually so many glitches and issues in the playthrough if you watch it. Like with
I thought it was like FPS.
No, I mean like characters stuck in the sky, heads turning around, spinning around, and stuff on characters in the distance.
Oh shit!
Wait,
there's a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff.
Wait, you mean in the trailer? I didn't see all that.
Yeah, in the trailer, there's a bit where he's like shooting the back of an enemy, and the health bar depletes to 0, but the enemy doesn't react until he's dead. So there's a lot of basically every explosion. If you look, every time there's a grenade explosion, the enemy, when they fly into the air, they don't actually drop back down.
It's nice.
They stay.
They got that delay though, so I mean.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's kind of it's crazy.
It looks like there's a lot of work to clean up.
That's what he's saying. Basically,
you know.
I don't know. It depends. I would have to see more of it, but for me,
we'll see.
We'll see. The FPS drops. I was like, okay, yeah, they're gonna have to fix that.
So let me ask you this, because it seems like you're a fan of it. So what?
Yeah.
Do you feel that this game so far, if you could just kind of make an educated guess, what would you think is the pull for the game loop, or the what? How can I put this? I'm trying to think of a better way of saying this. What do you think is going to be the game's strengths?
The game's strengths, I think, from what I'm looking at, the story, Bethesda's always been pretty decent with their story, so I think that's a good strength, depending on how it is. But from what I've experienced with their games, it's the majority of times pretty decent. And it depends, because this game they seem to focus. They quit the voice line for the main character, so he doesn't have any voice line. So that means, and that tells me a little bit that they're definitely going for more of an traditional RPG route. So I'm thinking there's actually gonna be a lot more multiple endings. That differ from how Fallout 4 had it, which was you had 3 different endings, and it was all kind of similar. There might have been 4 actually, but depending on which faction you decided to team up with. But
Don, here's the $1 million question.
Thing. But
do you feel like because Todd Howard is working on it, he's a known, I don't want to say liar, but he definitely exaggerates. And, the fact that this is launching on Game Pass, and, Microsoft is publishing it now, I guess. Do you think, all those factors are going to contribute to the game being, low effort, you think? I think, the devs are going to put a lot less effort, bro. Because
you say, if it is
because there's no, collateral damage if they don't get sales.
The way they can make their money is just
there's no microtransactions, right? Bro, that shit, I mean, as a dev, that shit's fucking demoralizing. Holy shit. Your game is going to be played for $1. If I was working 12 hours a day and I knew some asshole was going to pay $1 for my fucking game, bro, I would just be, depressed.
The developers don't care because Microsoft is offsetting the cost. They're worried about the subscription.
Let him say
let him get off his thing. Let him talk about the game. I don't care about the Game Pass, all the whatever shit. Let him just talk about the game.
Yeah, the benefits of the game, though, it's it has a decent amount, and I think if they can do the world exploration right, in a way where it doesn't feel as samey for a decent amount of worlds, especially for the curated ones where they're gonna have their 4 main cities like they said, and they might have extra towns and stuff outside of that, obviously. So it depends how they space things out and make things feel like a traditional Bethesda game, because that's the thing too. Because some people would just mainline the story, and it'll feel more, I guess, like a traditional Bethesda game, right? And you're going to be in the cities most of the time, probably. And they actually Todd Howard was talking about a couple missions that you actually do in space, where you board enemy ships and stuff. So that's cool. And I remember seeing a snippet in the trailer where there's like zero gravity, and you're in like a small, I guess it's like a spaceship room. So there's obviously going to be some of that, and it depends. I don't know a lot, but for my stuff, it's going to be the story, the different amount of worlds.
Is it on Game Pass PC as well, or just console? And PC
too.
Damn. Yeah, but if it's on Game Pass, Microsoft's whole thing is that they want as many subscribers as possible to resubbing every month, and if they can get enough, they can make it actually a decent amount of money doing that as well. Because some people also buy the game. Like I'm planning to buy it, and I'll play Redfall on Game Pass because it's like I'll do it that way, or I might try Starfield a little bit, and if I really like it, I'll buy it because that's I'm like a big Bethesda guy, so I just like buying their main games just to have them. But yeah, so I mean they can make money off of that and DLCs and such, like to answer your question. But no, for the benefits for the game, I think it's the worlds, depending on how they do that, the campaign or the story, and the space traveling system, how they like handle dogfighting and ship customization, and definitely settlement building. That's a cool thing. I like that they brought back from Fallout 4. So that's gonna.
I just wish all of it was like, kind of interconnected, instead of it being different instance. One, for a planet, the other one for, space, the other one, this shit like that. It's kind of like
you already had that.
I'm guessing you're gonna be able to have each settlement.
Basically.
Like you have a settlement on every planet, or not every planet, but probably a decent amount of planets. You just put a settlement on each one, maybe. But I hope you can own like multiple ships as well. Like, I wish I could like have a carrying bay, I guess, or like a ship bay to hold up all my ships, maybe, and have different ones for different occasions. Like maybe have one more for like carrying stuff, or like Todd Howard said, there's actually smuggling. So like maybe something like that, and then another ship I could have more towards like dog fighting and stuff. So I mean, who knows?
I'll let Link go because I really want to hear what he has to say. But
yeah.
I will say, like, with the open world games that I play, one of the things I love about some of the best open worlds, like I really like this about Red Dead and GTA and stuff, especially, is they have a lot of like dynamic inferences in the world, like stuff that you could just be moseying around collecting shit, and you'll see like a really cool event. Like it could be in Red Dead 2, like I don't know, like the KKK setting themselves on fire or some shit, or like some guy getting dragged in the lake by an alligator, or
or that
like,
one time where you meet the siblings.
Yeah, exactly. That was fucking awesome.
Or that one time where somebody asked me for help, and then he took me in his house and raped me.
Did they actually rape you though, or did they just drug you?
No, he drugs you and then it's rape.
Well, anyway, the point is those things like make it. So I hope I hope they have some cool stuff in the main planets like that. I don't want it to just be walking around zapping
emptiness.
Iron
you don't want that.
gunplay.
Or just kind of like creating these bases where it's just randomized and there's a base here. There's some pirates in here. It's like there's stupid ass like typical events. Link, what you gotta say about all this?
Yo, what's up, y'all? So I was Nib, what were you saying though? Like, what were your thoughts, or what you wanted to hear?
No, I just wanted to know, what did you think of the showcase? Were you as hyped for it? Was it what you were expecting? Did you come away from it more hyped, less hyped? Did it meet your expectations? Just go into it, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think the first showing, I definitely left with the very beginning, because they start off with the whole gunplay. The gunplay was not impressive to me, because it seems like a lot of the things that are happening is, you mentioned the guy that they shot from the back. It seems like he's stuck in an animation loop, like of trying to get up, and then the trigger just goes off, that his health goes off, and then that's it. Some other guys that are more in the combat state, You do see a little more reaction from them. But this just makes me realize that in the end of the day, it is an RPG shooter. RPG shooter to the sense that a lot of these games, it's just based off a bar, right? Like you have to just drain the bar. And I think I've said it to you, or I've said it in other spaces. I don't expect a full staggering effect of a regular action game, because action games are supposed to have more of that direct feedback, right? Like a Call of Duty, you shoot somebody, you expect that direct feedback.
How do you feel about the feedback in, say, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, Cyberpunk, etc.? Or
So
even
Cyberpunk, I think,
Horizon.
was
Horizon Forbidden West, because you can shoot people, obviously.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cyberpunk is probably the closest to this one, because that's actually an RPG, right? If you shoot people, like, you'll notice that if they're very tough, it'll take a long while. All these bullets are pumping into them, and they'll eventually die, right? Other guys will die much sooner. Some of the animation's there, but the one I was gonna bring up in particular is like the Division. Like the Division went through a certain iteration where in the Division 1, everyone just looked like pure bullet sponges, right? Nobody was really reacting, like kind of how we saw with the Fallout Starfield presentation. And then what they tried to do is the guys that were heavier, like the guys that they wanted to have, the larger health bars, they added pieces that would dynamically fall off, right? So it would be like kind of like segments, and you could see the direct feedback of your bullets impacting. So I think this is a problem of most all RPG shooters, because even in a Mass Effect, if you don't use your powers, you see the same thing happens, which is they just absorb all these bullets until they die, right? So again, problem with RPG shooters. So once I got my mind wrapped over that, I'm like, okay, it is what it is, right? The one thing that I do really, 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 really like about what I've seen of Starfield, is I really like the graphical styling that they have. Now, I'm not saying the people, right? Because it's obviously an upgrade from the old engine, and the people's faces still look jank and whatever. But I like that hyper detail, like really kind of almost super realistic look that they have going on there. That yes, you have a game like Horizon that looks like fantastic, colorful and vibrant, but it's not really realistic, right? This has a very grounded kind of look, which is what they're looking for. And I love the look. I love what they have going on there.
Let me just say this. I am disappointed in you guys. All of you.
Wait, what?
For not mentioning Dying Light 2 and its impact of bullets and whatnot. Because you can knock an enemy down in Dying Light 2. They still get the hell up. It's not like you just draining a bar. It's so interactive. Despite that it's an RPG. So I'm mad y'all didn't mention that.
I heard the story for that wasn't really well. So
No, I'm not talking about the story. I'm just talking about impact.
Impact? Oh, just
I don't know.
I haven't played it yet.
I don't see it as an RPG.
Impact-wise, I don't know. I haven't played it, so I only played the first one, and I heard some things about the second one, so I was waiting for it to go on sale. But
I don't know anything about Dying Light myself. Everything I've seen in it's more parkour, and you, I guess, update some stuff. Like this is more the traditional. You get a gun, and it's full of like number stats and all the nonsense that goes into like these pure RPG experiences, right?
Right.
So
What's
I
cool
don't know
about
if
it,
Dying
too, is
Light
you
is like that.
Customize your
Dying Light
guns
had
and
the
crap.
best.
Yeah,
It
I don't know if
has
you
the
saw
numbers
trailer,
thing, but it
yeah,
had good
Fallout.
feedback as well. Like Gamecast was saying, really good.
Like people think that I'm a pony. I'm really not. I play anything that's good. So I want to say this, so I can wrap this up. We'll play my PlayStation 5 later on. I have to take my nap because I'm an old dad. I have to apologize. I have to apologize to everybody. And Nibs kind of picked this shit up. It was I was violated at the airport.
Wait, what? What?
I said I was violated at the airport. In was it TSA?
Yeah, TSA.
Right. So I go in there and I'm getting ready to go through the metal detector. And all I have is basketball shorts and a t-shirt, right? Everything else, my shoes are in a little bucket and shit like that. I put my hands up. The thing swirls around and it tests you out. He says, "Step out the thing." So I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm ready. I'm ready to get my backpack." And he says, "Stop. We detected metal in your crotch area. So,
Damn.
and I'm like,
Sucks.
nigga, what metal? I don't have any piercings, my dude. Nowhere.
He's like, "Oh, we actually detected some metal in your crotch."
It wasn't just me. It was the other guy behind me. So the fucking metal detector was like crazy.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Do you want me to check you here, or do you want me to check you in private?" I'm like, "Man, check me here, because I'm not trying to get raped." You know. So
Yeah.
the dude is like rubbing my legs, putting his hands on my fucking cock and shit. I'm like, what is this? I have never had this experience since I started traveling in 2018, yo. This shit is this. What kind of Last of Us Part 3 is this shit? What's going on with it? I'm sorry. I apologize. But that did happen, though. That's a true story.
You think he made it up just to, just guess?
No, you could see it. You could see, like, they'll show you, like, where the metal was detected.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just me.
So I assume that's why you were a little bit more.
Mad.
Yeah,
I
feel
was
something.
upset.
You definitely had a different vibe to usual.
I was like,
yeah, that's fucked up.
You want to go to the back? He was like, you want to go in the back, or you want to do it here?
Oh god,
go in the back. What is this? So anyway, but I will wrap this shit up, guys. I really do appreciate it. I was like, man, I kind of wanted to do the whole podcast shit anyway. Or the spaces and stuff like that. But I was like, man, my plane was late. I got, harassed. So I stopped doing it. The guy jumps in. Y'all guys think I'm joking. That shit really happened. The guy jumps in, talk about some PC Master Race shit. Talk about that's kind of odd. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Kind of odd. You actually have some metal in your pants. You want to go check them in private? Oh,
We're
no.
going private. We're going private. I got some hot chocolate.
Got some hot chocolate there. You want that?
Shit was so horrible, yo. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yo, what happened? Because I was going to say Crash. Wait, what? What happened to, what's his name? Oh, he, hold on for a minute.
All
right.
Quickly, yeah. Link. I know you want to close out, but Link. So overall, what would your rating be from Starfield showing?
We'll talk about it another time.
All right. Okay.
No, why not? Why not? You can give us like a quick rating, real quick. Real quick.
I mean, I have a thing with Nib that I tell him I don't really give ratings, so that's why I said I'll talk to him.
This guy, man. What kind of Last of Us 3 shit is this?
Wait, what happened?
I mean, I would give it a rating. Are you talking about the Starfield presentation as a whole, or are you talking about the whole Xbox showcase?
No, just
okay. How about this? Let's just go around the panel. Your rating for the Xbox showcase, and then one for Starfield specifically. I just want to get a gauge.
For the Xbox one, probably give it like had some good stuff, but it was kind of bloated with some indie stuff I didn't really like. But I did like the Redfall, Starfield, Forza, and I like that Rick and Morty game, the High on Life. That was a good showing. For what it is, I'll just give it with Starfield especially. Starfield brought it up immensely for me because before I think it was like a 7, kind of slightly above average, I guess. And then when Starfield shut off,
wait, did you say 7 out of 10? Yeah.
No, 8. But
8.
With Starfield, okay. But the Starfield stuff, I would give that like I think if they fleshed out the FPS drops and all that would have been a little bit better, especially in the beginning. But then when they showed that like spaceship traversal and the dog fighting, I would give it a 9.
Okay, some high ratings. All right, not bad.
Really?
For me anyways.
What about Xbox fan?
Yeah. I was gonna say it earlier. Thanks for letting me speak. So I have basically 3 problems with Starfield only. I'm only gonna talk about Starfield. And the problem is basically they showed the demo, right? The first time showing the game, and so it's supposed to be something special, right? Something like big. And someone talked about the Interstellar movie when they showed like a water planet with like a huge water wave. And for me, it just seemed like a regular mission, nothing special. The graphic looked like I would say nice, nothing like too special, and it wasn't like anything special going on. And the second problem is obviously the frame drops. Was like running a little bit below 30 sometimes.
Yeah,
that was also pretty bad for like first time showing. And then the thing is about how they said they have 1,000 of worlds. So I think Game, because you said it, they have this generated system where they create different planets. And the problem with that is
generated.
Yeah. The problem with that is if you look at games like Horizon or like other modern games, they sometimes use 3D scans of objects from real life. So it makes it look way better. Of course, it's a space game, so you can't really take things from Earth, I would say, to design your new planets. But I think having the render generated system is not gonna make the world look like, I think, good designed. Because maybe it will, but I don't think it's just having a system on it like would help. So I don't know.
Okay.
And
what would you get the rating for the game?
Right.
I would say honestly just 5. Just
5. Okay.
Because
what about you, Lazy?
I would say as a whole, I would say 8. Only because my kids actually like a lot of the ancillary things, like the racing, Hot Wheels. Because I watched it with my kids, so that colors my rating. And I have a son that likes the flight simulator stuff, so he went and downloaded the Halo thing right away. What I will say is I'm actually interested in Redfall because I'm a Division 2, Destiny, whatever type of person. So I'm actually more interested in Redfall. And in all honesty, I would have actually preferred more news and hopefully something. I know it's not going to be out for a while for Outer Worlds 2 before Starfield. Because again, for RPG, that type thing, I like a tighter game, not necessarily being able to do a million things in it. I just want the story. And for the game for Starfield, I really don't have much of a rating because, again, when it comes down to it, I just want a good story. And they were just showing things you can do, which I don't give a shit about that. I want a story. I play games to get immersed in the story and like the stuff they do and the characters and all that. That is my main concern with stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Don, what about you?
Just from them doing the demo doesn't tell me anything about what the story really is getting into at all.
They slightly should have, but they didn't. Yeah, they didn't show a lot. Who knows? I don't know. That's a wait and see, obviously. But I mean, maybe they'll announce some more story-driven stuff. But I mean, Bethesda really doesn't like to do too much releasing story-wise, like trailer stuff. So, because they like to keep it on spoiler. But yeah, it's Starfield's interesting, man. I'm excited for it, but I'm also have my expectations set where it's like it's a Bethesda game, so for me, I've always liked them, but I'm also like prone to like, okay, we might see some bugs and that actually might suck, but I don't know. It's a wait and
if
see.
it wasn't for Game Pass, I would that'd be a game that Starfield would be a game that I would wait and see what people say about it first.
Right? Yeah, that too. That's a smart way of doing it. But for me, I'm dumb, so I'm probably gonna.
No, I'm saying if I didn't have Game Pass, I work for Microsoft. I don't pay for Game Pass, so I have Game Pass.
Oh, what?
So I'm definitely going to try it, but I may just fall off it like I do many other games that I try. If I don't feel it, I'm getting into it in an hour or two or whatever period of time I'm giving, I'll just roll off to another game.
Yeah.
What about you, Gamecast? Did you give your ratings, or shall I just give mine?
No, I'm gonna let Don go, then me, then you.
Right, cool.
Don.
Wait, my ratings?
Wait, I thought Don. I'm so confused. I thought he already went.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He did an
I meant
8 out of
some
10
stuff,
for the
but-
show and a 9 out of 10.
The
for
system
Starfield.
was saying that he wasn't talking. It was saying that somebody else was. Okay.
Yeah, it's
All right,
weird.
cool.
It does that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool. So for me, the rating for Starfield, after they said that you couldn't leave the planet without, they don't have any animation for that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that shit a 4. Not a fan of that. And it's just the polish is not there. Like they actually had her failed eye tracking on YouTube as an advertisement. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, y'all even like trying to put your best foot forward. So I have a feeling that when it comes out, it's going to be horribly buggy, and people are just going to act like it doesn't exist. But yeah, Nibs.
Yeah, so I know people have been listening to my ratings have changed a bit. So the first instance I gave the show a 7, then I went to a 6. But I'll go for the whole show. I'll go an average. I'll go in between 6.5 because I was disappointed that there wasn't more like there's no real AAA exclusive for 2022, and I didn't get the big bangers that I wanted. Like I wanted to see more Avowed or Everwild or Perfect Dark or just something basically besides the 2 I already knew were going to be there. However, I do think they did fill it out with enough third-party stuff from on Game Pass, not necessarily AAA, but like I am looking forward to some of the games that they showed, like High on Life and things like that. So yeah, so I'll still give it a 6.5. As for Starfield, I'll say 6.57. 6.57. So it did disappoint me, and it is below my expectations, but once you look at it in the framework of it's a typical Bethesda style of game, it just didn't adapt with the times or didn't modernize. But it could still be a good time. Then yeah, I'll go with 6.5. 6.5.
Okay. And East, what you gotta say? I see your hand up.
I'm gonna just say I'm gonna give the whole conference a 5 because it just nothing appealed to me. But Starfield, I'm gonna give it a 4 because, like Gamecast said, they gotta put their best foot forward. They can't be fucking around on the reveal, and they got whole cross-eyed people, and it's going to 21 FPS. It's just like bro, like what the fuck, like.
I'm gonna say this. If that cross-eyed chick is there for inclusion purposes, I don't know.
That wouldn't be too bad, honestly. If they did it on purpose, I wouldn't have a problem with it. They need more cross-eyed representation. But overall, like they don't. Like there's like so many games nowadays. We don't have that much time.
I thought that was edited. To be honest, I thought someone edited.
No,
there's just too many games.
I'm going to actually try to put it in here before we close out here. Let me take a look here, because you can find it. It's 7 minutes in. It's 7 minutes in.
Nib put a screenshot up on it.
Did he already?
Yeah, it's gone though.
Oh, what? He got rid of it.
It shouldn't be done. Let me see. All right, that's where the hell is it? Oh no, I don't have it. What happened, Nibs?
Gamecast, I'm off now. My son's woken up. I'm going to read to him for a bit, and then it was